Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, I should probably mute the stream on my device. How y'all doing? All right, we're gonna let everybody file in. We had some technical difficulties this morning. Look, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I don't know. OBS is a little bit weird. I had to delete my camera and then re-add it, and then that worked just fine, despite it being literally the same settings. So I don't know. And then I couldn't get the mic to work, but that was my fault. So good morning, everybody. Everybody got their coffee or Monster energy drink or other drink that might be a little bit early to drink. Oh man, it's gonna be fun. Today's fun. I've hidden a plant from you guys because it's it's gotten a little bit big, but we'll see. Yeah, I need to stay hydrated. You're right. I need to find my water. Where is my water? Hang on. We you know what? I don't even know where my water bottle is, but you know what? We're gonna get a glass of water because I forget how much I talk, and I'm also been drinking only coffee this morning. So it makes sense that I drink some water. Cheers, thank you. Noon here, yeah. It'd be a little early for that, Lynn. Hi from the UK. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, as I was about to say. Yeah, it'd be late in the UK. I got a friend out in the UK that I talk to occasionally. It's actually been a little while since I've talked to them, but yeah, it was always a ships passing in the night thing whenever we would talk. You're in Oregon too. Nice. That's exciting. Are you going to PlantCon? Because I'm going to PlantCon. I'm excited for that. So. We'll kind of, like I said, we'll give people a couple more minutes to file in here and kind of think there. Yeah, I recommend it, Theo. If you've never been to Oregon, it's the problem with Oregon for me. So for those of you guys who don't know, I'm originally from Dallas, Texas area, kind of that Fort Worth, Plano area, and lived there for, I don't know, so I was about 10, and then moved up to Oregon, and I've been to a lot of the United States. The only real section of the United States I've not touched is the Northeast. So like that kind of New York, Maine, Delaware, like that whole corner of the United States, I've never been to. But most of I've been to all the outside edge on the west and south side. And then I've been to a lot of the middle. There's kind of the Detroit area. I've not really been up in that area because I used to travel quite a bit for business. So I've kind of seen a little bit of everything. But for whatever reason, I just never ended up in that Northeast. Yes, where is the Bulbasaur? That is the plant I'm hiding. I'm going to show you guys. That's our big plant chore today, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be a ton of fun. I'm so excited about the Bulbasaur. It's spoiler alert. It's ridiculous. Originally from Idaho, we almost moved to Idaho. We were very close. I saw the Sand Point area, and I felt called to Sand Point. And I know I've kind of read some stuff that like it's a bit of a weird place, but I was kind of worried that like we like to go to concerts and stuff, and I know there's like local kind of band concerts and stuff they get going through there, but I want to go like you guys have seen me wear Thrice and Cartel shirts. Like I like going to bigger shows, and I know that those would not be there. I shouldn't say bigger. Thrice usually isn't a bigger show, but it's good size. We don't have a great venue selection in Portland, actually. They're kind of vibey, but they're fun. Yeah, originally from Idaho. Oh yeah. So we used to live in the Hillsborough area. So I lived kind of in the Rock Creek, 185th area, kind of by the Rock Creek Elementary School and Westview High School. Kind of in that area. We were about a couple blocks away from that. Yeah, flying across Canada. Wow, you might be. That's gonna be a weird sentence. You might be the highest person that has ever watched a Plant in the Poor video. I've never heard of anybody watching one from a plane. That's intense. Struggling, rotting. Okay, we'll talk about some stuff. We'll talk about that. Greater Cincinnati, been there many times. Yeah, Sandpoint, Coeur d'Alene. So yeah, I really thought I thought Coeur d'Alene would be kind of where we would end up originally, and then Coeur d'Alene got really expensive because like we were just kind of a little bit too late to the memo that Coeur d'Alene was the place to move during COVID. And then we were like, oh, okay, we go to Sandpoint. It'll be a little bit different, but then Sandpoint's insanely expensive. So, yeah. Portland area, yeah. Nice. All right, cool. Well, we got some chores today. It's gonna be fun. Welcome everybody. So excited. Santa Cruz, Cali. Yeah, nice. I used to work with a lot of car dealerships out in the California area, so that was kind of my thing. I don't blame you, Lynn, on not wanting to transition them. I would say don't do them all at once. Try a couple that you're, not there. Singapore. Dang. That's intense. Ooh, new leaves. I'm excited. So one of the things that we're going to do today, I'm going to do some plant chores today because I've got some stuff to do. And as promised, I told you that any major plant chores that I needed to do, like unless there was like some sort of an emergency chore that I needed to do, I would do it on a live stream. So we're going to do some repotting today and kind of talk a little bit about your plants, hopefully. So I'm going to give you guys a couple ways that you could like send me photos of your plants while we're on the stream. And I wanted to show it on this screen, but I couldn't get it to work. So I have a big iPad over here, so I'll just kind of hold it up and we'll take a look at some of your plants if you want me to. And then we'll kind of like do a little bit like plant doctor. So something I want to start doing for live streams. This is kind of why I would love to be full-time doing this. I'd love to have like a weekly live stream plant doctor session where people can just like come in with photos of their plants and I help them. But that would take a lot of time. So maybe one day. Bidding on a jungle mint? Nice. What are some issues that can occur if the AC vent is blowing on my Monstera? So if you have AC that's too close, like if some of it's hitting the plant and the plant doesn't seem to care, like I've got a peace lily back here that desperately needs to be watered. It is sitting like an inch from the fan and it doesn't care. So it's not getting blown directly by the fan. It's like just a little bit shorter than that. There's a Monstera right there that is, a couple feet from it. It's just not getting like within that first like 2 feet of the actual air coming out. As long as that isn't hitting your plant, they usually don't care. If your plant starts suffering though, then it's a problem. So just be aware that it usually is a little bit dehumidifying. So in terms of how to send photos of plants, the way that I will do it is I'll do it to, oh, I forgot the Stream Deck. Nope. Well, we're plugging this in. We're plugging this in because if you guys keep asking me how to get to the Discord, I'm gonna lose my mind, lose my ability to think. All right, hang on. We're gonna grab the Stream Deck. That's the one thing I forgot. Because you know what? I want to push the button. You guys know how much I love this thing. There we go. Dude, my fry deck is finally looking good again. I wrecked my fry deck. It got spider mites real bad. And then I kind of just tried to fix the problem and it just was not working. All right. So we're gonna do pictures in 2 ways. Bob, I'm telling you, man, Bob, those things kick it. You want a plant that gives you corms. The pink dragon elbow. These things pop corms like you would not believe. And if you're going to PlantCon in Seattle, you might be able to get a free one of mine. Just saying. I've been known to stick corms in my pockets. I have been known to do so. Okay, so photos. What I would say is if you want to like send a photo and have me take a look at your plant, we're gonna do it 2 ways. One, I've got our Discord. So if you're in our Discord, there is a massive Monstera book club channel. I'll pop the link in chat right now because I get to press that button and it makes me happy every time. We're going to, did it not chat? Oh, it was supposed to do chat. Is it not working again? No! That'll make me sad if the case true. Do I have to sign in to? Oh, I'm real sad. I'm real sad if that's not working. Oh well, that's my fault for not testing it beforehand. What if I press this one? I'm just gonna try another button, see if it works. All right, well, that's sad. Oh well. Stream Deck, let's just check and see if I have to log in. Maybe I just have to log into something. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll basically have you guys do a little bit of, I have no idea why it's not letting you guys do it, letting you guys see it. Account, that's it. Well, fine. All right, we'll get moving. I'm not gonna sit here and make you guys watch me try to fix this. That's sad though. I wish I knew. You know, I wonder. Huh. Oh well. 7 devil monsters you buy from Orange Lake Nursery? Orange Lake had a whole thing. 2 of them? Yeah, a lot of people got them from that Orange Lake drop. All right, let me... Let me pour... Oh, yeah, it's just gotta be not connected. Let me just do this. Let me just add this, and maybe I just need to hit this login button. I'll bet that's it. I'll bet that's it. Okay. And then I bet I just need to unplug it and replug it. And if this doesn't work, then we give up. I'm tenacious though. When something's broken, it like freaks me out, and then I feel like I have to keep working at it. Sad. Okay. Well, we tried. All right. I may need your help. I apologize. Some of you guys, actually, we'll do this. I'm gonna copy a link to our Discord and put it in chat, and then somebody copy this link so that we just have it available. All right. So we are going to create an invite. So we're gonna have 2 things. We're gonna have the Discord, and then I will also have you guys be able to message me on, what do you call it? Instagram. Yeah, turning it off and on again is like the classic, but it didn't work. So I'm not sure why. All right, paste. All right, here's a link to our Discord. Somebody copy that and like keep it in a notepad or something, because I will lose that link, and unfortunately, ye old Stream Deck is not. Oh my God, what just happened? That was weird. Huh. Well, something worked. Does the Discord button work? Huh. Oh, it works. It works. All right, here we go. We're gonna do the suite. Check everything. Make sure it works. Boom. There's all the links. Okay, we're back in business. Okay. Sorry, that makes me excited. Sick. Okay. So the Discord, if you're not a part of our Discord, we have a Discord where we help people. I try to be as active as I can, but we have some really awesome community members in there that will help out as much as they can. I'm in there as best I can. I try to check in the morning, basically. So I'm going to, yeah, the Stream Deck just caught up. I may have done the elf thing and just hit all of them in a row. Yeah, so in our Discord, there's a channel called the Massive Monstera Book Club 2026. In there, you can post a photo of your plant and then at me, so at Patrick Russell. And then that'll let me know anything I see in today. I'll try to get through today as we finish up with our chores, because we got a couple chores we got to get done too. So feel free to join the Discord. I technically have Instagram as well, but if you're in the Discord, it makes things a little bit easier for me. Then I don't have to check 2 places. But if you don't have Discord, feel free to message me on Instagram. I will try to look at those as well. And if I don't get to your plant on stream, I will get to it later today. Today is my son's, like, it's not his official birthday, but he's going to his like parties today. So I will be a little busy today, so it'll probably be tomorrow before I get to you if I don't get it on stream. But today we're gonna do some chores. So I've rambled, I've ADD'd. Let's get some chores done. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take a look at our plants, and I've hidden one of them. Actually, technically I've hidden two of them from you intentionally because I thought the reveal would be more dramatic. So let's talk about kind of the ones that we are for sure working on today. This is one of our mints. This is a just a Monstera mint. I picked this one up. Where did I get this one? Is this PlantCon? I think this is PlantCon LA. Yes, that's what this one is. So this is my PlantCon LA one that I got. And then, no, that's wrong. That's the PlantCon LA one. This one, I think this is Moose. This feels like Moose. Feels right. So yes, this is it is time to repot this guy. He's got roots coming out everywhere at the bottom here, and he's trying to poke through, and there's just not enough room for him. So we're gonna get rid of that. We are probably not gonna repot this one today. We're gonna talk about why, because I think it's important for you guys to know. We're gonna dispel a repotting myth. We are also going to take a look at this one. We're not gonna do any chores on it, but this is another Monstera mint. I believe this is my PlantCon one. I will have to go back and look at some footage to determine. I'm like 90% sure this is the PlantCon one, and that one came from moose roots. I'm pretty sure. And then the big chore today is the Bulbasaur. So the question is, remember, no, I gotta hide it. Yes, so we'll talk about white monsters and mints in a minute. But yes, they're all from the Kunzo white monster lineage, and we can talk about that sometime. That's a whole topic. But yes, you're correct. That is the white monster variant of mint Monstera. Okay, so the Bulbasaur. How big do you think the Bulbasaur is? Let's see. Let's put it this way. How many interfenestrations we think we got on this thing? I'll ask that question. The last time you guys saw it, I think it had just had its first, like, one on it. 6? 6, 5, 4? Okay. So, this... This girl we're going to repot today, and the whole reason we scheduled it for this weekend was so that I could repot this one. So, 6, 7, how dare you? How dare you, sir? All right, here's our good friend, the Bulbasaur. So we just got this chunky new leaf that is just absolutely gorgeous. So reminder, this thing was in a tissue culture bag in November, and we are here just 7 months ago. So it's already taken off. So doing really well. This newest leaf is just freaking fantastic. Like, are you kidding me? I got a little nervous because there's a lot of, I need to do a video on this. We're gonna have to talk about tissue culture at some point, but I want to actually bring an actual like TC scientist on to talk about this. But there were a lot of concerns with people with the Bulbasaurs when they were kind of coming out. They were kind of reverting and stuff like that. And there's some truth to what's going on, but I think people are getting the wrong idea. It's kind of the Tycon situation all over again. So I kind of want to do a video and talk with an actual tissue culture scientist, because there's just a lot of misinformation about TCs. So I think you should try them. I think you need to be careful, but I think you should try them. We'll talk about that. But we do need to repot this one. We have an older leaf kind of seancing here, so we'll pluck her off and throw her on the floor like I always do. So this is the Bulbasaur. This is going to be our main chore today. We are also going to repot this mint Monstera because, well, it's out of pot. It started growing a new growth. Like, we have two mints, white monsters in here, so that's pretty cool. All right. If you want the short version with tissue cultures and what I think is actually going on, but like I said, I would rather you guys hear it from an actual scientist. I've done a lot of research on it. Good tissue culture labs will refine their explants. They'll refine the plants that they're cloning from. So they will look for plants, they'll get the whole process stable, and they will release high quality, well propagated plants, because technically tissue culture is micropropagation, it's a whole thing. But the point is that from what I have researched, from what I've talked to from botanists and talked to other people, the tissue culture labs have just kind of been rushing to market, not really checking the plants and making sure that things are stable beforehand. So they're not doing that quality assurance step that like a good lab would do, and ensuring, because they're just trying to be the quickest to race to the bottom. And so we're seeing some tissue cultures that are, I would say, irresponsibly created. And that's not I think people get the idea that tissue cultures grow slower, or that they are more distorted, or that they have less variegation or worse variegation. I don't think that's how it works for the majority of plants. I'm sure there are plants that might apply to, but I think for the majority is that it's the irresponsibility of tissue culture labs than it actually is indicative of a flaw in the process. I'm gonna talk to some scientists and actually get one on the channel. So the goal is basically to have a whole kind of an interview podcast style thing and just kind of clear the air on what's actually happening here, but that's the short version. So my point is just make sure you pick a good reputable supplier. Orange Lake Nursery actually seems to be really responsible. They waited a long time before they brought in devils, and they said, we aren't bringing them in until we're sure that they're stable. And like, I actually really respected their take on it. So I don't have any, I've never actually bought from them. I've had friends buy from them locally, but I want to kind of get in touch with them and talk with them, because I actually really respected that they intentionally chose not to release them early like everybody else did. So, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, I talked so much that my coffee went cold, even in my ember. Yeah, I really like Orange Lake. They seem like really, really genuine people. All right, so much ado about nothing. Let's kind of do some. So let's talk about plants I'm not going to repot first, just to get this out of the way, because I saw somebody ask this question up here. So I'm gonna hit questions real quick, and we'll go through here. To be honest, TCs are getting so cheap. I might do multiple devils for prizes. They actually got way cheaper than I thought they would. Like they're, sub $30 in some cases. So I will likely give away multiple at the conclusion of this. So just saying, and there will definitely be plenty of Bulbasaurs. So I'm gonna talk to Moose. I think I'm gonna get him from Moose. He's my buddy. So I'm gonna ask him for a hookup and see how many we can get. We'll do it together. Okay, so how long can a tissue culture stay in its bag? Hoop. I have tissue cultures that I bought in PlantCon LA. I don't remember when that was, but go look up when PlantCon LA was earlier this year. They're still in the bag. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying I still have some I haven't taken care of. Months. You want to keep them cool and not too much light. So I just have mine under some T5s in my bedroom, and they've been chilling all things. All right. So, no more questions. I also think, and just one last note on tissue cultures, the process of acclimating tissue cultures, whether it is a perfectly cultivated plant or not, teaches you a lot of really great reusable skills. So I think the skills that you learn from caring for tissue culture are worth the price of admission, even if the plant ends up not being. You will learn a ton just doing it. All right. Let's go. All right. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Plants I'm not repotting. Let's talk. So some of you guys, I saw a question earlier. I apologize. I didn't see the name. But let's talk about our plants we're not repotting. So I don't like to repot plants that are working on leaves. So you can see on this one, I probably could repot this one, but it's gonna be kind of hard to see. Where is it? It's right here. We've got a new little leaf starting to spike out and form. I'm not going to repot this one. In terms of, is your plant going to implode if you repot a plant that is working on a leaf? No. What is fairly likely to happen is it will abort that leaf, or the leaf will come out deformed or ugly, or I have actually seen them like get so panicked that they like rot off that main stem because they just kind of freak out. So I tend not to repot while it's working on a leaf. I have so many plants that I don't need to be honest with you. Don't repot because you're bored, just kind of wait. Wait till it's good. And in terms of like figuring out when I think that Monstera are gonna be good for a repot, and this is kind of another reason why I don't like to have multiple Monstera in the same pot, other than the fact that it gets crazy busy, is that it's hard to time it. When you have multiple vines going at the same time, it's hard to time a moment to repot when you don't have a leaf coming in, because you've got multiple vines popping leaves. So that's why one of the reasons I go single pot. So other one I'm not repotting. Well, because we've got a full-on leaf coming in here now with, might I add, interfenestrations in here. It'll be hard to see, but you may just have to trust me. It's right there. There we go. Little interfenestrations. So I'm not going to repot this one. We're going to wait. In terms of when you can, we'll grab my other plant. Where is it here? Obviously this one's fine. We're not working on a new leaf. There is kind of something starting to form here, so we're a little bit, I probably would have preferred to do that a little bit earlier, but it'll be fine. This one, so let's take a look at the Bulbasaur, okay? So the Bulbasaur, we're like, what I would probably say about a day or two early to repot this one, but it's okay. So Monstera, when they kick out a new leaf, they will typically kick out that new leaf, and the leaf will lay flat. So they'll kind of sit out the spike, they'll kind of unfurl, and then the leaf will typically kind of go a flat orientation, kind of that vertical orientation. It'll expand, and then once it's done expanding, it will tip to face the light. Once it does that and it starts tipping to face the light, that's kind of the point that I'm okay repotting, right? Is once it starts to move and angle towards the light, we're okay. You can notice, I don't know if it'll come across on the video because of the color grade, this leaf is a little bit brighter. It's a more vibrant green than these kind of dark ones. So it's still technically kind of hardening off, but I think it's fine. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna not bother it too much. I say as the plan is to replace the moss pole because this moss pole is not big enough. So we are gonna deal with this one in a moment. I'm gonna get the other ones out of the way. So that's kind of my general kind of rule of thumb in terms of when I'm going to actually repot a Monstera. I'm going to wait until that leaf is starting to pitch up, and once it pitches up, that's when it's usually, you know, done growing. It's kind of like over here. Oh, you can see. We'll pitch the camera this way. Oh yeah, Forrest, you want to see this? Take us out. Those of you guys who haven't seen it, the fenestrations on the pothos continue. This is my marble pothos that's been fenestrating lately. Yeah, so this leaf right here, the Andromeda, my big tie, it's starting to pitch up now, so it's good to go. So like I'm gonna have to cut this plant in half. It's gonna break my heart. How does one know when a leaf is hardened off? So they are kind of, the terminology there is actually intentional. They literally harden. So when you've got a new leaf coming in, sometimes just go to one of your plants and just kind of feel it. And you'll get this feel of almost like it's like a little bit smooth, really, really flexible. Be careful, you don't want to like bang it up. And if you have an anthurium, don't do it on an anthurium because they will have issues. I always damage my anthurium leaves if I touch them, so I have a strict no-touch policy. But then when they are hardened off, if you feel like your older leaves, they'll be more firm. They're not kind of that soft feeling. They're more kind of rigid. So my best advice to you, honestly, is just feel. So go to some of your older plants, kind of feel it, and you'll be like, oh, okay, this one's more firm. It kind of bounces back into place, whereas this one's kind of floppy and soft. So you'll feel it. You'll trust me. You'll know. So look for a leaf that's coming in and just kind of feel. In terms of when it's done hardening off on a Monstera, like I said, it's that point when it starts pitching up to face the sun. So wherever your light is, or your grow light. So once it starts kind of turning up, it'll be a couple days after that, and then you'll start seeing that. So That's kind of my thing. So we're gonna get rid of this one. We're not doing anything with this one. It's working on a leaf, so we're gonna get it out of here. The lemon pom-pom over here, we are going to put up as well, because again, it's working on a new leaf. So we're gonna get this out of here. Although, it's out of water, or nutrient solution. So we're gonna water her a little bit. Once you've watered these things enough in these pots, even with no window holes, you eventually just kind of get a feel for it. How much they hold. We're also, I think, going to be using some of my new pots today. All right. Ooh, first in theory, us a thing. Yeah, that Marble Queen. She good. All right. Let's do this. Okay, so we're good to look at the bulb. Should we do? What do you guys want to do? We want to do Bulbasaur, or you guys want to do the white monster first? So we're gonna take this one out of Fluval and put it into Leca, or we're gonna do Bulbasaur. What do we want to do? You guys pick. You guys pick. Ah. Bulbasaur? We can do Bulbasaur. He who speaks first wins. All right, Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur it is. We got 2 votes, Bulbasaur. Okay. So, Bulbasaur. Let's kind of talk about Bulbasaur here. So, Bulbasaur, we kind of got to figure out exactly what we're going to do. So, Bulbasaur, I put too small of a moss pole on here. I'm gonna just tell you now. I think the correct play is not to use a small moss pole anytime you're doing a Monstera. I think the play is start with a medium always. I've said this before. You don't have to do the moss pole thing. I have reasons that I do moss poles. Some of that has to do with how I grow my plants. The benefit of the moss pole is really, it does help the plant size up more. It you know, that climbing aspect, you can accomplish much of the same thing by putting your plant on a cedar plank, right? I'm actually working on a 3D printed non-moss climbing surface. More later. But the point is for me with the moss is that there are roots in here, and like not just these big, like, you know, chunky aerial roots. We have actual like roots that have, you know, those auxiliary secondary roots on them. And because we have those secondary roots, it allows the plant, when I chop this thing in half, to easily transition into its repot. So at some point, your plant is gonna hit the ceiling, like my Monstera in the other room is. And when it does that, you have to chop your plant in half, or put a hole in your ceiling. One of the two. One of the two is going to happen. When you get to that point, would you rather have a nice established root system that makes that whole process way easier, or not? I've lost Monstera because I didn't have great root systems, chopping them in half, and then it's like, ugh, the whole process doesn't go very well. So for me, I like the peace of mind of having the pole because of the root system in there. It's not required. It's what I do. Do what you want. Whatever works for you. Okay. Ooh, great question. I love that question. Okay. How do I tell where the back of the Monstera is? I did a short on this. It's harder to tell on Monstera that have been grown, how do you put it? Backwards. So Monstera, right, are a vine. And so when they have light coming from one direction, they will turn all the leaves to face that way. So what you can do is you can kind of trace the petiole. So we're going to trace back from a leaf, and you'll see it kind of opens up. Here's the old sheath. And that sheath will open up on one side of the plant. So it's going to come down here, and then it connects here. Those leaves come out at a 45-degree angle from the back of the plant, right? So if you look at the leaf comes in, leaf comes in. Where those two leaves meet, on the back here, right? So, we're gonna I should get a whiteboard. That'd be fun. Okay. We're gonna do blue. Blue da ba dee da ba da. Okay. So you have, this is a top-down view of the plant, right? So you've got a leaf. You got a leaf. There we go. We're gonna draw this here. Okay, you got a leaf and your leaf. The top-down view of the plant. The stem comes down. The stem comes down. They're gonna open up. You'll see the sheath kind of open up onto the main vine. Your main vine of the plant, the back of the plant, is right here. So take 2 leaves, trace them back, and the back is going to be right here. Okay. So that's the easiest way for me to tell you, is to just trace 2 leaves, and where they meet, just go to the back of the plant right there. What you're going to find is a lot of Monstera have been grown backwards. So you're going to do that, and you're going to trace it back, and you're going to go like, oh wait, you know, the leaves are all facing the wrong way. That's fine if you just put the plant in a way that all the leaves are facing the correct way, or facing the light. They will reorientate themselves, and then the plant will grow correctly. So just how that works. But we'll have to do a video on that. It's been a while. How do I grow mine so compact? Great question. That is also part of the moss bowl. So one, giving really strong direction from one light source. So I have a light source that's like right here, basically, that grows onto this plant. If you have a big window, when you're trying to grow your Monstera in front of a big window, they will typically kind of sprawl out. It's kind of the same deal with this one. The one in the back corner here, this from last year, Perseus back here. Perseus was grown on a moss pole as well. And that moss pole kind of keeps them nice and tight. So for me, that is a huge part of it, is giving them some kind of a support and then guiding them. You have to be kind of responsible, because your plant, your Monstera will try to leave it occasionally, because they explore. And to me, that's how you keep them nice and compact. If you don't, I think Sydney Plant Guy actually had a video, I think about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer, where he actually kind of talked about this a little bit too, with his Tycon, and then it was basically kind of spreading out around his house. So I fully agree. Give them something to climb. A lot of people, you know, they say that ties are crawlers. It's not true. They're just climbers that are very good at crawling. They are climbing across the ground, if that makes sense. All Monsteras are climbers. They just, because they have such tight internodal spacing, and that's just the space between where they get their next leaf, they are really good at crawling because of that. Because they literally, they start the next leaf, and they crawl along the ground because they're good at that. And they look great outside doing that. But in your house, they will take up your entire living room, like mine is. Which I don't even know what I'm going to do about Andromeda. I'm going to be real with you guys. No clue, because I'm going to have to cut that plant in half again, and I don't think I want to do it. But anyways, all right. We're gonna have some fun. Hole in the ceiling it is. Okay. Weird question. I have a couple of plants where I have to tie the petioles up to make them fit into their area correctly. How bad is this? Ooh. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start repotting this while we talk about this. I'm gonna give you a spicy hot take. So I'm gonna actually clean. We have a little bit of rot on this one because I let it get too dry. I'm gonna give you a spicy hot take on this. So if you have been a part of the Monstera subreddit, and there is a botanist, they are very passionate that you should never tie your petioles. They're not wrong that it's not ideal to do so. By tying your petioles, you know, you're kind of limiting your Monstera's light input technically, because what they're trying to do is spread out in basically like giant solar panels. They're trying to absorb as much light as possible. And if you wrangle them in, you are stopping them from doing that. So the idea there is that your plant is constantly fighting against plant bondage, basically, and it doesn't have the ability to spread out as much. Grow your plants however you want. I have done it. I've tied up a couple of Monstera's petioles for the same reason you did. Sometimes the Monstera just get kind of sprawled out and big, and you just kind of need to rein them in to live with them in your house. Your plant is not going to implode because you have tied up a petiole. Is it botanically correct to do so? No. But neither is bonsai. And nobody's coming after the bonsai people. Mic drop. Okay. What would happen if you grow a Monstera crawling? Nothing. It'd just crawl. It's not gonna hurt anything. If you have like an albo or a Borsigiana, the small form, it's gonna look kind of ugly. The small forms, I have never seen one crawl and look nice. So if you're not sure, the whole like large form, small form thing has kind of gotten a little bit convoluted. It used to be in the olden days, like all you could get was Borsigiana, but these days, almost all of the like variegated Monstera that we buy, the Tycons, the Mints, the Devil, I actually don't know about the Bulbasaur yet. I think it's going to be technically a large form, just because of how the spacing is going here. I don't know if we've ever actually confirmed that, but the small form, so the Monstera albo, there is technically a large form albo, but the one that you see everywhere is a small form. I would not grow that one crawling. They should climb. All the other ones can technically do just fine. Do your new pot designs still make that noise? I love the pots, but dread lifting up the inner pot. You guys want to see the new pot? Yeah, the noise, this noise. Yeah, I didn't like that either. They still make a little bit. You're gonna have you're still rubbing plastic on plastic, but it's much quieter or shorter. And then by the time you actually put the inner pot in, that doesn't really make much noise at all. Those of you guys that missed this, I release these files for free. They are out on Maker World. So if you have a 3D printer, you can print these at home. But I know the noise was annoying, but I gave you one more noise that's really nice. Where'd it go? Oh, I gotta get it in here. Oh. That's a good one. And then once you put it in here, you know, easy money. So that's the story there. All right, is the inner pot a specific brand? I don't know how many of them fit, to be honest with you. It is a specific brand. It's linked in the files. If you go to Maker World, if somebody wants to be a gem, find our Maker World profile. If you go to Maker World and type in The Plant and the Pour or Patrick Russell 2, it should find it. But if somebody could link that. I haven't put that in my links here. Drop that in there. But that will have the pot in there. So, Bulbasaur time. So the Bulbasaur, we are going to do a couple things. I got to get another white monster. Bulbasaur, we got to do a couple things. So this pole is too small. So we're going to get rid of this pole. I have a larger moss pole. Compatible grain directions. That's actually an interesting point. Sorry, that was an interesting point. I never thought about 3D printing grain and reducing noise. That's just an interesting idea. Okay, so we are going to make a moss pole, and we are going to repot this guy. So I can never remember which way is forward on these poles. I don't think it actually matters. Can someone post a Discord link again? You bet. Boom. I always feel bad because the people that join the live stream later can't find that Discord link. So I need to, maybe I can post it as a YouTube comment or the description or something. I'll do that. People watching the live stream later, look in the description. I will post a link there. Yeah. All right. So, moss poles. What size moss poles should you use for your Monstera? The ones that I use are by Thickly, and I only buy front closing. Well, I should say this. I have two companies that I like their moss poles from. I really like the Thickly poles for the large size. So Thickly is like the only brand that makes them large enough for me in this clear pole style. There are some like Grow Vertical has some good, nice thick ones. I know that High Altitude Houseplants really likes those. I don't. not that I have anything against them. I like front closing poles because if I need to get my plant out, being able to just unclip these and put the plant in it's a godsend. So I prefer them that way. But I don't fault anybody for doing it the other way. I'm going to make a little bit of noise. I apologize. I forgot to get some water to moisten this. Moisten. I said the word. Those of you guys who don't know, I'm not a big fan of the word moist. Not that I have anything against it. Just a weird word. All right. We got some water here. Okay. So. Put water next to my MacBook. It's probably not a great idea. All right. What kind of thing is best for me? So, okay, so I've done the open mesh ones. That's what the Monstera is on, or the, not Monstera, the Pothos is on here. That my technically not a Pothos, but my Marble Queen. I don't like those. The circular the circular poles. I don't like those unless, the only reason I would ever go with one of those. And I've thought about doing this, and maybe you guys can help me decide this. I have a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous pink micans, and they don't really size up to, or anything like that, just to my knowledge. And I've thought about doing one of these totem poles, making it a little bit thicker so that it stays wetter longer, and then just making like a 6-foot pillar of pink micans. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I think it would look good. So, Thickly makes really good large size poles. They're the only large size poles that I found that work for me because they have, it's not sponsored, I have no relationship with Thickly, by the way. They front close, they're V3 poles, close in the front. And what that does for you is that when you're going to do this repot here, it's going to allow me to take the plant out of the pole without disturbing any part of the plant. It's going to just have a big old chunky root system in there, and I can just add more moss and put it right into this without disturbing things. If you have the poles that close in the back, you basically have to cut the plant out of the pole to get it out there. And so you ruin the pole, you ruin the plant, no. I want my poles to be reusable because these things are kind of expensive, right? Some of these big poles are, $5-10, so they get kind of spendy. I will say, I found a pole manufacturer that I like way better, but they don't make large poles, and I'm going to keep fighting them until I can get them to just make me poles. Russo, if you don't know who Russo is, they're not cheap. Like their stuff, they're U.S. made. They're cool people, but they're moss pole. Like this is the highest quality moss pole. Like this looks awesome in your home. This is insane. So if they made these in a large pole, I would use these so much more. But they only make them in mediums. So I'm going to grow all my anthuriums actually on those because I think I want to try anthuriums on moss poles. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the T5 question if there was, but yeah, I do not use T5s almost at all. I have one. My bedroom has T5s, and I literally only use that for like corms and stuff. Like it's very, very small plants. I don't recommend anybody buys T5s. Barina had, sorry, you guys are ADD me. I've done no plant chores. I hope this is okay. I'm sorry. I'm very ADD. You guys want to see something that's not released? I'll show you guys something. I'll see if I can find it. I will show you a product that I'm super salty that has not been released yet. And if they're not going to release it, I'm just going to show it to you until they release it. Ugh. All right. This is an unreleased product. Will I get in trouble? No, they didn't put me under NDA, so. All right. This is a revision to the T5. So all you guys that are using the T5s, they're not strong enough. And they released those new orb lights, those little circular puck lights, not the wireless ones. There's this new, like, they have this little, the Orb Grow series, or OG9 or something like that. They have these little lenses on them over the diodes, and it makes them way more powerful. Yes, I use T8s. Every plant you've seen today has been grown entirely on T8s right now. Well, actually, no, I lied. That one's on a TR40. And I think I have, yes, that's right. They're all on T8s right now. T8s are baller. I use 2 per shelf. So this is the unreleased light. So they take the T5, and then they put those Orb Grow bulbs on them, and then they cranked up the power. So normally it's 5 watts. They had them, I think it was like 5 watts per foot, I think is the normal T5. And these are 10 watts per foot, which means that these should be considerably stronger. They sent these to me back in December, and they're still not out yet. So I don't know what the status is of these, but they're still magnetic. So like, no, this is not magnetic. Is this magnetic? No, okay, whatever, trust me. These things are magnetic. So like the T5 like magnetic mount thing, these are them. But as far as I know, they've not released these. They have T5 Pros, that they've already have the name of them. Like that, there are some T5 Pros out there, but they're not this version of them. They're the old T5 Pros. So I don't know. They need to release these because they are awesome, but whatever. All right. Would it be stronger than a T8? No, they're not quite as strong as the T8s in terms of like raw output, but they're very close. Like I did some measuring on them. Because they have those lenses on the front, if they're really close, they can match or beat a T8. A little bit further, they're a little bit weaker. But I think for most people, I think they're gonna be the optimal option because they look great. And T8s can be a little strong for some things if you're really close on certain shelves. I think those are going to be a really fantastic option for people. But yeah, I think, Matthew, I don't remember what the T8s are. I want to say they're 10.5 watts per foot, 10.5 or 11. So these things are like minusculely weaker, but they're way more compact. So I like them. The Walmart, Tom, not once in my life have I ever worried about a death plug. Let me be real with you guys. Most of the time, your plant just pokes right through it and doesn't care. So, for what it's worth, I think that's an overblown thing. Okay, yeah. So I've shown you guys something. I'm not going to get in trouble. Don't worry. All right. So moss pole time. We're going to make one. So, moss pole 101. As I've said before, I have too much water. Maybe not. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. The goal here is we are trying to make a moss pole that is slightly difficult to close, or slightly inconvenient. I'm not going to use the word difficult. Slightly inconvenient to close, but not hard to close, right? We want it to be enough moss that I have to kind of put a little bit of effort into closing it. I've used the analogy before of like post-Thanksgiving dinner trying to rebuckle your pants. It's kind of like that, right? Just a little bit of squeeze. You also walk around trying to attach lights to random surfaces. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, your T5s, they just have to be close. They're not very powerful. I don't know. They're kind of an older light design too. They can be nice for like smaller cabinets. But like there's other lights like by VivoSun. VivoSun and who's the other brand? Maygrove. VivoSun and Maygrove both have 7-watt T5s. So they're a little bit stronger than the 5-watt versions that Barina has. They're the exact same form factor. I think they're not magnetic, but whatever. You can mount them. Regardless. Patrick's. I don't know. Anybody else does? I've got this like sensory thing that I have to rinse my hands off anytime there's something on them. The irony here is that I'm literally about to go put my hands into more moss, but I felt like I had to rinse my hands off. All right, cool. Don't forget, if you are joining late, we are going to, after I finish my plant chore here, we are going to be taking a look at some of your Monsteras. So if you have a Monstera that you want me to take a look at, drop it into our Discord, which I will link here in the Massive Monstera Book Club thing, and then make sure you tag me, because that'll help me, let me know that you're in the live and you want to take a look. And if you have to go, this is recorded, so we always have these back here. So if you have to run, you can watch these back at any time. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we already have a little bit of moss here, I'm just going to put a light little kind of just starter bit of moss here, just to get this going, because I want a place to put this plant. Up top, which I got to figure out which way is top. Always check that first. The logo for the Thickly logo is top. I've never figured out, if anybody knows, I've still, to this day, nobody's been able to tell me how to actually connect these things together properly. Forest, I feel like you should know this. There it is, okay. I did have it correctly. I've never figured out how to correctly attach them. They have this like locking mechanism in it. I don't know, never figured out how it works. Yeah, speaking of which, I want to talk about the cloud forest for a second. Thank you guys so much for the love that you showed them. That was so cool. So we, those of you guys that missed it, we started a new series that basically we're featuring, I'm doing like some secret shopping basically. So I find like small Palm Street sellers, and I'm trying not to, everybody's like giving me recommendations for like, you know, big sellers like Green Escape or Jumanji and stuff. And that's not who I'm going for. I'm going for like sub 5,000 followers, and ideally sub 1,000 followers, because I want to find these companies that are like, they're getting started, they're doing great work, and they are just good people. So I typically join a live, I watch about 3 live streams just to see what their vibe is, see if I connect with them, and then if I like them, then I will secret shop them, I'll buy some plants, feature them in a video, and then try to get people to go to their next live stream. This couple, they're a couple just like Tiffany and I, they're local actually, they're just 40 miles down the road. And so they had like 330 followers, I think, when we posted the video, 370 maybe, something like that. And we posted the video and like, I don't know, it was 5x their followers overnight, basically. I think they're at like 1,600 followers now, or 1,700. And so it's really helped them be able to kind of grow their business and stuff. And so, I don't know, I don't feel the need to feature and secret shop someone like Orange Lake because they already have an established business. I'd rather just find other small sellers and feature them. So that was a ton of fun, you guys. Thank you so much. And I know a lot of you guys, you know, kind of found out about them. I feel a little bit responsible. We kind of did the same thing for Moose Roots when he was getting started. He was already established. He was well on his way. We do not get any credit for his stuff. But I feel like a lot of people started doing content around Moose. And now the secret's out about Moose, and it's really hard to get like super good deals unless you catch one of like his flash sales. Like there's just so many people in the lives, it's hard to sneak things. So Cloud Forest, I was like, I'm getting Moose and No-Nos for $4 here. Like I've got to share this. So it helps, to be honest, it also helps them from losing money. So one of the things, just if you guys are ever wondering, so like if you ever want to help me find these sellers, what I'm looking for generally, one, I want to find, I pay attention to sellers that are kind and want to help out their audience. They're not there just to sling plants, and that's the business, right? They're buying plants and they're reselling them, every single one of them. You know, some people are selling corms, you know, hundreds of corms a week. Your plants are not producing that many corms, you're getting them from somewhere else, right? So they're all just reselling plants, and I'm fine with that. That's how we buy plants from Walmart. I'd rather buy it from a human, you know, a human than a corporation anyways. But this is gonna be weird. But I think I think what I'm looking for typically is like those, one of the big telltale signs, like the I will turn off a live stream instantly if somebody gets a plant for what we all know is too cheap. right? If a plant sells for way too cheap, and then the seller immediately is like, "Whoop, can't run any more of those," or like, they like, "Oh, come on, chat, help me out, like don't make me lose money," or whatever, like that kind of attitude. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. The sellers that are like excited, like, "Oh man, great snag, great deal, congratulations," like that's the kind of attitude that I'm looking for. I also typically am looking for people that are not giving a bunch of plant care advice that's incorrect, which tells me that they don't actually grow the plants. And then I'm typically looking for people that have, obviously people have good reviews and things like that, right? So some of it's vibe for sure, but a lot of it is like that, how are they treating their customers? Because it tells me a lot about how things are, how things go behind the scenes. So Cloud Forest, they were just super kind, super fun. And it was just nice. So I liked them. Okay. I need a place to put, we'll use this old pot. I've not cleaned out my table since I filmed that video, by the way. All right. Yeah, the dad doing things. I think at some point you just have to go live and just do it. We're gonna have to cut this out. I tell people, like, the whole like selling things, at some point you just have to turn the camera on and go. You're gonna have plants that go for too cheap. Like it's just gonna happen, right? You're gonna lose some money starting out. But to be honest with you, that's every business. Think about it as advertising, right? You're gonna have some plants go for too cheap. They're gonna go tell their friend, "Guys, I just got a Bulbasaur for $3 on this live stream. You should come check this thing out." And you might lose money for your first few live streams. But if you keep losing money and you keep being fun to watch for, and your content is well produced, then I think you're gonna be just fine. Palm Street is a good platform to sell on. I don't have an official relationship with Palm Street. We've done some work with them before. Anybody's curious here, I'm just cutting this plant out of this pot, cutting the pot instead of the plant, basically. I don't want to lose too many roots here. Palm Street is a cool platform. They're pretty cool people. They're definitely business savvy. I don't have an official relationship with them other than I shop there a lot. I am very genuine and serious when I say that they are not allowed to sponsor our Secret Shop series. I've actually talked with their marketing department, and we both agreed. I was like, you can't touch this, and she's like, we would never ask, because that is exactly, we just don't want to do that. I would work with them if they asked. So if they were like, "Hey, let's sponsor some content," I would work with them, because it's somebody that I've used. I have a policy that basically I won't work with a company unless I've used their product in my home for at least 3 to 6 months. And I've used Palm Street for over a year now, so I'm comfy. And to be honest, Palm Street in many ways is more about the seller you're buying from than the business. How often are you feeding your mix? Always. My reservoir always has something in it. There's never a point where there's not fertilizer in my reservoir, which this is crazy. All right, how do I get this thing out of here? I popped one. I'm just gonna have to lose some roots, I think. Okay, I want to save the biggest roots. That's kind of my main goal here. Yeah, I think, Olivia, that's a really good point. Kind of the guilt with a plant. Like if you get a plant that's too cheap or something like that, and a seller kind of guilts you about it, how are you gonna feel about that plant in your home? Like that was the plant that I got, and then the seller made me feel bad about getting. To me, that's going to taint that plant. I'm not going to look at it the same way I would as, oh, I happened to get a really great deal on this plant, and the seller was super excited for me. Like I think people don't always think about what plants mean. To some sellers, it's just business, and I get that. But plants, I think a lot of people have that kind of emotional, personal connection with. And to ruin that for somebody I'm just not interested in featuring somebody that does that. So that is Immediate red flag, and that's why I have to stick around for about 3 live streams before I'm comfortable recommending somebody. I need to see that interaction happen, and it always does on Palm Street. Always does. Okay. One more cut, and I think we can get this thing out. Oh gosh, that's awful of you. My wallet says thanks for introducing me to Palm Street. Look, Palm Street is a place that you can spend a lot of money very quickly. But I will say this, you can just win a bunch of giveaways. Go just hang out in live streams. Like if you're doing nothing else, like if you're at work and your work will let you do it, just pop on a live stream and enter every giveaway you see. You're gonna win. I did the math one time. I was on Rare Plant Fairies with live streams. And, uh-oh, what happened? What was that? Uh-oh. All right, you guys can hear me, but my camera just went off. What happened there? Did my, was it not providing battery? Or not providing? We'll pop in a different battery. I'm not sure why that happened. That should not happen. That should have been powering the camera. Why it didn't, I do not know. Huh. All right, we'll pop another battery in. That'll fire the camera back up. And then we'll be okay. But it should have been powering from the other. Dun, 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 dun. Is Palm Street available in the UK? I actually don't know about that. If it is or isn't. All right, let's see. All right, we're reconnected. Why are you not powering via USB, I wonder? You guys get to see my head real close. That is strange. Huh. What did it say? It gave me an error message. I probably should have read the error message. The camera does not support power during USB with the attached USB adapter. Okay, so what happened was Patrick didn't read. That's what happened. Okay. That's on me. That's on me. Okay, so that means, can I unplug this? Okay, the camera didn't go away. I better look at my ear, sorry. How about that? Does that work? Are we getting power? I have no idea. It didn't tell me. I think it's working. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't actually know, Theo, like if you can do international on Palm Street. But yeah, I if nothing else, just join and win some givvies. And then if you win a givvy, post about it. Put it on social media and tag the seller. Like, to them, that is the greatest thing you could do. Like, I won this awesome plant on Moose Roots' live stream. Share it to your story, share it as a post. Let them share it. That's the best thank you can do for winning a givvy. All right, yes, I have no idea. I don't know what happened there. So, I mean, I know what happened. It didn't have power, but I don't know why. But we're back. Yes, we can see. If you closed your eyes. Turns out if you don't plug in your camera into power, it eventually does run out of battery. But I had another battery, obviously. This is very in here, guys. This is going to be nuts. Okay. I remember the old days when I was tender and gentle with my plants. These days, I teach them a little bit. Yeah, the roots are kind of healthy. The problem with the roots right now is that I actually let this thing get too dry. We went away for a weekend, and then I forgot to water before we left. And so I came back and it had like dry rotted some of the roots, which is actually kind of why one of these leaves came out a little bit goofy, because it kind of halfway aborted the leaf. I've got leca all over the floor. I'm gonna step on one, it's gonna go crunch. If you've never stepped on leca before, it's a thing. Are the small root pieces bad? No, not really. So for me, I'm not too worried about it rotting when it goes into leca. The biggest thing I would say is, like, if you're gonna repot a plant that was in leca, don't do it if the roots don't look healthy, right? Don't repot it. Leave it alone until the roots recover. And once you have good, healthy roots again, then you can go ahead and do that repot. I only repot healthy plants. If I need to rehab something, that's a different discussion. But if I have a plant that's like, it's doing okay, but like some of the roots rotted off or whatever, I'm leaving that plant alone. I'm gonna wait till it recovers, then I will deal with it. All right, what the heck? I will say some of these like smaller, finer secondary roots, I will pull those off sometimes just because I can't get the plant out of here with them. Leca is really cool. Just make sure you kind of look up some videos on hydroponics and just kind of understand what's going on there. But all that's happening is your plant is growing in what's called an inert media, which just means that there's like no biological component to it really. It's leca is just it's clay cooked like popcorn basically, and then all of your nutrients have to come from the fertilizer mix that you put in there, and that fertilizer mix needs to be a hydroponics compatible mix. So you're going to use something like foliage focus, general hydroponics. Super Thrive, I think technically is also one of those mineral salt based ones, I believe, but I have to double check that one. Let's see. Yeah, you got to be tough to survive. In my house, oh my gosh. All right, look, I should have repotted this a while ago, but that new leaf was coming in and I didn't want to do it. Oh yeah, gossiping on other sellers. Like if they're trash talking other sellers, no, thank you. No, thank you. Like to me, the plant community should be a place where we kind of embrace and help one another and lift each other up. And the whole like weird cliquey business, no, thank you. You'll notice that I don't tend to get into plant drama. The only time I get into any kind of plant drama is if somebody gives out really bad advice or incomplete advice, which is pretty common in short form content. Then I will sometimes do a video. That's what my bad plant advice series comes from, is usually either advice that I myself used to believe because of, bad plant advice, or because I saw somebody, did a video on it and I'm like, nope, I would disagree with that. Oh my gosh, we're getting there. Yes, so Matthew, 100%. So what happens when you do the whole hydroponic thing? We did the hydroponics on our first, this is very confusing, on that lemon pom-pom I showed them earlier. We did a repot on that and it literally spit out its very first new leaf like 2 weeks ago. So what they will do is they will focus on their roots, and then they're gonna look like they need a repot. Like they're gonna be just poking out the bottom like this is, and you're gonna be like, oh, time to repot. And I was like, no, just let it go. Unless it's actually like a problem. Like this one became a problem. I should just break this pot into a million pieces, but I'm trying to save it because I This is unreal. Oh, maybe if I push. Oh, hang on. Look, Henry, I'm gonna be real with you. After the first live stream, I dropped the mint Monstera, that white monster I showed earlier, and I broke one of the leaves off of it. And nobody's called me out on it. But literally, we got off that live stream, and I dropped it, and I broke this leaf in half. And it, like, the whole stem is bent and messed up. Because I'm a monster. I'm klutzy. Ooh, whole shelf? Yuck. We've all dropped plants, let's be real. Let's be real. If you haven't dropped a plant, oh, well, that was, oh my gosh. I think we're getting close. I think we're gonna just magically have this moment where it pops out. All right. I'm just gonna get leca everywhere. I can hear my wife. My wife is saying no upstairs. I'm sorry, dear. She knows. She knows that we're going to be cleaning up leca for days. Ah! All right. We got it out. Yes, dear. Look, it fought me. All right. She's good. She's all good. No damage. Nobody saw that. There's a broom nearby. I don't need the dustpan right now. I just need to clean my feet up area so I don't step on leca and make a mess. I'm just gonna sweep it all under the table for now and deal with it later, so that I don't crunch this stuff. That is a terrible sound. I don't know if you guys can hear all the leca rolling on the floor, but it is not good. All right. Yeah, the nice thing is that one of our youngest will actually find the leca and pick it up sometimes, and that's good. Okay, Bulbasaur's out. So we got our Bulbasaur. We're good there. You find that sound oddly satisfying? Oh no. That gives me anxiety. I'm not even an anxious person, and it freaks me out. All right. So we got this thing out. So I've kind of done a repot. I don't know if I did a repot like this on the last live. But once you get the plant out, the goal here is kind of keep the root ball intact. Something I don't know why people do this in dirt either, but they kind of immediately start breaking up the dirt and trying to get in and replace every bit of dirt. I don't agree with that. Leave the root ball alone. If you want to like take a chopstick and poke holes through it and like aerate it a bit, 100%, go for it. You do not need to replace all of your dirt. Leave the roots alone. Your plant's gonna be just fine. If it's already happy, let it be. No, Laura just messaged me. Laura, are you watching me right now? I feel like she just answered a question. I've been trying to make connections with people in the plant community. I can be kind of a loner sometimes. I don't intend to be, but I've been trying to make planty friends. I'm very excited to meet Yan from Sydney Plant Guy. He's going to be at PlantCon Seattle in a couple weeks, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna go say thank you. I wish I could give him a plant. I don't think I can give him a plant and have him take it home. I bet there's probably rules against that. All right. Do you use leca now for my alocasia? I don't use leca for alocasia. The only alocasia that I would probably use, and check this out. This is gonna be great. Getting this plant out of here. The only like alocasia that I personally would say like, oh yeah, you could use leca for, Regal Shield, Gagiana, the like Odora, the big species of them. Those are going to be the ones that are gonna. My fingers are too big. Those are gonna be the ones that I would recommend for leca. You can absolutely grow like most any of them in leca. There's nothing wrong with it. I find they do better in a slightly more condensed mix. I think that lechuza pon is too condensed for most of them. As they mature, I like to use a chunkier pumice. I've kind of shown this on here, but I get pumice locally, and it's more like this, right? It's a much chunkier compared to some of the lechuza pon pieces, which lechuza pieces are more like this, right? This little guy in my hand. So it's quite a bit chunkier. If you're looking for like grades, it's about 3/8 of an inch is about the grade that I'm looking for alocasia as they mature. And if you're trying to find pumice, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about with pumice, lechuza pon is like half pure pumice. And if you go onto lechuza's website, you do not. All right, we're gonna give the speech. You don't need pon to grow your alocasia. Super common misconception that alocasia need pon. If you're going to grow in hydroponics, you just need an inert media. So there are some companies now that are making smaller leca, which I think is awesome. I'm super into that. Somebody popped up on my feed that they were going to make smaller leca, and I was very excited to try it. But now I can't remember what that company was called. But you just need an inert media. So it just needs to be something the alocasia can get a hold of. So for me, what I like to use is just pumice. And if you want to you're not sure if you believe me, if you can just grow them in pumice, what I want you to do is I want you to go to lechuza's website right now, and I want you to look up mono pon, M-O-N-O, mono pon, and I want you to look at what the ingredients are in mono pon. The question on how often do I feed my mix, it is always in there. There's always mix in my reservoir. It is always present. Always fertilized. Oh, the sun came out. That's nice. All right. Old pole out. So now we have our forbidden taco of roots here. We have my kind of self-watering moss pole setup here. So if you've not seen this before, up to about 2 feet, you can use a wick rope. And you're good. Yeah, you can grow, you don't need leca. I will say this, leca looks nice, which I think is something. So if you want a fun little trick, there's nothing stopping you from getting leca and putting it on top of pumice. So if you like the look of leca, but you live somewhere where pumice is really cheap, like I do, like I can get a massive bag, and I'm talking like 40, 50 pound bag of pumice for like $8. Like it's super cheap in the Pacific Northwest. You can just put the pumice in there and then just put leca on top of it. No one's stopping you. They even have weird colorful leca. I don't know that I would use it, but it is technically there. All right. So, moss pole, we are gonna go all the way to the bottom with it. So I gotta do a little bit of measuring here, so bear with me. Kind of need to see. So my goal basically, remember this plant was pressed all the way to the bottom with its wick rope here. So I wanna make sure that this plant has room to go down. So I think we're gonna go, we want this root in here. So this aerial root, I'm gonna try to get this into the pot. So I think we just go all the way to the bottom with it. Okay, so that just is letting me know. So the goal here basically, like what I'm trying to do basically is decide how deep I wanna plant this, because if I can get more of this into the media, then these roots will kind of establish into the leca, and I find that the transition helps better. If I can get some of these upper roots that we're starting to, these aerial roots into the pot, then they will start to become good old secondary roots. So we're gonna plant this thing basically all the way at the bottom. There is this little lump in the bottom here, so that'll be a thing. So I think we'll go right here. Wonder how that's gonna affect the, All right, I'm down with that. All right, so I think this is good. we're gonna pot this up here, give it a little bit of space, and then I'm just gonna connect. I'm just connecting and closing up the top and the bottom of this pole. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of slowly add moss to it. So I'm gonna try to get this out of the way. And I know this is a little hard to see. I did, speaking of which, some of you guys were requesting that I brighten it up a little bit, so I made it a little brighter this time. Does the wick rope work on a moss pole that large? Yes, it works up to about 2 feet above the pole, above the pot. So one medium pole or one large pole will work from thickly. So you can do it up to one large pole. It will not make it up to the top of the second pole. So that's when you have to start doing it. The reason that I do it on all my small poles, even though it does not work long term, is because if I do it on the small pole, I can be more consistent. And I find that like when a plant is young, that consistency with your moss pole being, you know, lightly moist at all times is really, really important. So let's see. And yes, always nutrient in the reservoir. Okay, so we're good here. I like where this is sitting here. We're gonna kind of start to weave this in now. So what I'm doing here basically is there's these little flaps, and I'm just trying to get the flaps in between the existing moss and the other, so that basically that old moss is gonna sit on top of the new moss, and then we're gonna close the lid on top of them and just kind of sandwich it all in there. That's kind of what's going on here. Eventually, I'm gonna have an overhead camera. We'll get there. You know, another $2,000. We'll get another camera. Oh boy. Absolutely, Hoopful. And remember, the live stream is recorded, so anything you miss, you can always come back to. And I'm working on the website. I'm working on putting like kind of a text summary of every live stream, just to kind of help people that would prefer to do it that way, or just get a quicker summary. All right. Okay. So I went ahead and just decided I would just go ahead and assemble the pole all the way. So all of the what do you call them? Connectors are connected. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna start stuffing this pole. So my goal here basically, like I said, is I want it to be a little bit of effort to actually get it stuffed in here. Because if you kind of skimp on the moss, it'll dry out way too fast. If you put too much moss, then it tends to rot because it stays too wet. Your moss poles should be able to dry out in about a week. So if you watered it and then it was not left to have any water, you know, in the reservoir or something, it would dry out in about a week. So you can technically practice this without a plant. Like if you want to see like how much moss to add, just don't put a plant in one. Make a moss pole, get it drenched, and then leave it on your counter or you know, in front of your grow lights or whatever for a week, and see if it's mostly dried out within a week. It's the same idea as dirt, right? You're just seeing, you know, how can I dry this out, and you know, how long does it take to dry out, kind of thing. And most things you want them to dry out in about a week. But if you get this dialed in, then when you have these little hydroponic setups, then the moss stays at the right level of moisture, as long as you don't overpack it. Obviously the pole then never goes dry, so you're not actually drying out your poles in these hydroponic setups. Okay. Yeah, next one would not work. Let's see here. All right, so we're gonna keep stuffing the pole here. I do not put moss in the bottom of the pole. That's where leca goes. If you get moss wet for too long, it will start to break down, and it can leach into your reservoir, and then it kind of gets your pH a little bit too high, because the moss, as it breaks down, tends to up pH. So I try to keep the moss separated some from the leca, or from the reservoir if I can. Okay, so this one leaf is like turned the wrong way. All right. Shoving some moss in. All right, yeah, so I do put some leca inside the pole, the very bottom of the pole. So let's see here. What I'm excited about, so like some stuff, just kind of while I do this, because there's not much else to show you at the moment, because I'm just filling things with pole. I thought we could maybe talk about some fun stuff that I want to do in the future. So we are always focused on education, right? That's kind of our goal, is we are educators, not influencers. I've said it before. But as part of that, I want to start bringing on like industry professionals, not in a, I want to sell you guys some stuff kind of way, but whether I use something or not, I think that there are some things that are beneficial for people to learn about. And so one of the things that I want to learn more about, is tissue culture. So I'd love to like do a live stream like this and bring on like an actual tissue culture expert, somebody who actively knows how to do it and does it, whether that's someone like, Lore from Plants in Jars, botanists, that kind of thing, and bring somebody in to be able to ask like live questions and kind of facilitate kind of that interview kind of setup and just kind of learn together. And basically I get to learn some questions that I have and you guys get to ask questions as well. So I want to do one for tissue culture. I want to do one for beneficial bugs. I've kind of been thinking about switching. I've kind of, I don't say, kind of downplayed beneficial bugs, but I have not recommended them ever before because they're very expensive. But as my collection has grown, the time that it takes to just do pest checks all the time is a lot. And so for me, I've started to weigh the benefits for me personally of beneficial bugs. And I know a lot of people use them, and I know a lot of people can't get some of the pesticides that we use. And so beneficial bugs are your best option. So I want to bring in a guy. There's actually Jared from Natural Enemies. Lives like a few blocks from me. Like we literally, like I live in a tiny little town in Oregon, and I'm just talking with this guy online. He's like, "Oh yeah, I live in your town." What? So it was super random. So I'm gonna meet him in Seattle and ask if, well actually I've already talked to him a little bit, but I want to schedule something and get him on the channel and just let you guys just ask anything you want to know about beneficial bugs. He's just super cool dude. So I want to kind of be able to offer that for you. So I'm going to kind of work on facilitating some interviews with cool people and just kind of learn stuff together, because I like to learn too. Okay. Questions here. Look at this review moss pole. Yeah, if you put the leca in the moss pole, I've not found it to be very moist over time. As the moss poles get higher, I've not been able to do it. Leca Queen actually did a really interesting video, and I don't know how much. I'm gonna rinse something off here. I got some dirt on this plant I want to get rid of. Leca Queen did a really cool video where she actually made a tower with her Leca moss pole, and it basically did a whole like hydroponic pump basically system where it would pump water, from a reservoir below, and then pump it up to the top of the leca, and it basically was like a water feature in her house. I thought that was really interesting. All right. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. You're 100% right. I have so much money invested in my plant collection, and as I have gotten more busy, doing stuff with you guys, also notice here, guys, this is not much bigger than what I had before, right? I'm not going into big old massive, I need to pin this thing down. Oh, look, convenient. This is not gonna be big enough. I'm not going into a big massive pole here. But yeah, you're 100% right. Your time is valuable, right? And pest control can be really stressful. But I will say this, the reason that people fail with pest control is consistency. You can win any pest battle if you are consistent. You have to interrupt their breeding cycle. You have to. Do the research, but almost every pest, like worst case scenario, spider mites, you have about 2 to 3 day reproductive kind of thing going on there. As long as you can interrupt that every 3 days, and kind of break that cycle, you're basically a a breeding stopper. Although I think I was reading somewhere that like spider mites can reproduce asexually or something like that. I forget. Somebody fact check me on that one. I feel like that was something I read. But I'm out in the garage, so forgive me if it drops off connection. I needed more plant Velcro. Got it. Dropped something in the garage. Well, it's a problem for future Patrick. Yeah, I think I was reading somewhere that spider mites, one of the reasons they're so tenacious is they can do asexual reproduction. All right. I got a new knife. Ew, that's so gross. Spider mites are crazy. They're very, very fun. Let's see here. Ah, there it is. All right, I think after this one, we'll probably take a look at you guys' plants. I want to see them. I know I have another plant chore to do, but I think I'll do that while I look at pictures of your plants. I want to see how you guys are faring. I've seen some really cool photos. If you have not, please tag me in your photos. I know some of you guys are posting them in the Discord and stuff, and that's great. But as you guys are doing the challenge, if you have a really cool new leaf and you want to share it, post it on like Instagram and tag me. And as long as I see it, I will repost your thing. I want people to see your hard work. You guys are working just as hard as I am. All right. So I'm just pinning this thing pretty low, back towards the bottom, just to keep it in place. I'm not pinning it up really high. It's gonna figure that out itself. So we're good there. Wick through the bottom. I'm gonna post the Discord one more time. And we'll put here. Do I have to post a thing? No, if you get like a cool thing, like if you're like, oh, I really like this, I'm working on this plant. Like if a video or something helped you, like just kind of let me know, like, hey, we watched this video, here's how it's going. I like to see that, like, I'll let you guys peek behind the curtain of what it's like to make content sometimes. It can be kind of it's one of the reasons I did live streams. It can be kind of lonely in some ways, that you're just kind of making stuff, trying to help people. And then if, you don't know, is my advice helping people, right? Like I like to think that like the stuff I do helps other people. And I know it does, because I get some of your messages and stuff, but actually seeing those photos, and being like, hey, thank you for, this video. It really helped me with this plant I was struggling with. Yeah, heck yeah, I love seeing that. Okay, I failed. I should have put the leca in first, apparently, because it is impossible to get in otherwise. Leca going everywhere. The openings ceremony for PlantCon is at a karaoke bar, and I feel like that was a conscious decision. Should I try to see if I can get Yan from Sydney Plant Guy to sing? All right. Yeah, so if you're joining late, the plan for today, I'm putting this Bulbasaur into it and repotting it, basically. And then once I get this thing in there, I'm going to start taking looks at your Monsteras. And if you have questions about like, hey, how's my plant doing? Is there anything I should be doing differently or stuff like that? I'm gonna try to get through as many as I possibly can. Okay. I've done more graceful repots. Okay, that'll work. I'm satisfied with that. Oh, I'm not satisfied with that. I gotta get this in there. So we're gonna kind of coil this in here. get this root in there. There we go. All right, sweet. All roots inside the pot. Oh, Maleficent, nice, good name. All right, yes, if you have not already, join the Discord, boink, link, and post a photo there. If you don't have Discord, I totally get it. The easiest place to message me is Instagram. I apologize, I have not been able to answer every single message on there. But if you shoot me a message on Instagram because you don't have a Discord, then I will do my bestest to answer you. But we started getting so many questions via DMs, I couldn't keep up. I had to make a decision between maintaining a relationship with my children and you guys. And you guys lost that battle. Love you, but you lost that battle. What size is that pot? That is a 6-ish inch pot, I think. 6.7? 6.7 sounds right. I don't put my plants in huge pots. There's just not a reason to. Don't need a massive pot. Slap one for Tanner. Yeah, this Bulbasaur is killer. I think my next repotting video, I think I'm gonna do a repot video on Anthurium and just kind of talk about how I care for my Anthurium. I am not a master at Anthurium. Like, that is not something I've mastered, but I think just kind of doing it as a journey and just kind of talking about like what I found works for me is just kind of cool. I'm not gonna tell you how to raise your Anthurium necessarily, but I will share what works for me. All right. I'm excited about these pots. I'm still working on something else. This was kind of an interim thing. This was a member of our Discord, I think it's J-Roy, messaged and asked me if I could do something about this this pot setup. Where's my, there it is. And so I threw this together, but I have a whole thing I'm working on that's gonna be all fully parametric, which just basically means that you'll be able to size it to any size you want. Okay. Dude, poor Tiff, bless her heart. She didn't ask for any of this. But you know what? She's been really great. I know you guys don't really see Tiff all that much. You'll get to meet her if you go to PlantCon Seattle. You'll get to meet my lovely wife. But she handles all the orders. So if you order something from our website, she packs your orders for me, which is fantastic because I kind of ran out of time to do it. I'll be honest with you guys. And so she's been doing all the orders. I still hand sign a little thank you card for each and every single one of them. I look at all your orders and I'm very thankful for them because that is how we fund our channel. We don't really take sponsors. So that is, I'd say about 80% of our income comes from our website and people ordering from it. And then I give all my designs away for free because I'm bad at running a business, but I think it's the right thing to do. Keeps cars off the road if you have your own printer. Okay. I think I like this. I think we're good. All right. You guys ready? I think we're gonna kick this thing inside this pot and we're gonna take a look at your plants. I wonder if I'm gonna have to set up a different camera angle for that. I might have to move the camera. Yeah, where is Willow? Oh, she must, you know what? I bet Tiffany tried to keep things quiet and just put her upstairs in the, they're hanging out upstairs right now, having a quiet morning watching cartoons or something upstairs, I'm sure. I bet Willow's just up there with them. She likes to hang out with the kids. All right. Plant into the pot. And now we are going to get paper towel. I'm hearing those pings. I hear the Discord going crazy. So I assume that's what's going on. That I'm getting messages other places. All right. You know what? I'd say this looks pretty good. I like it. I'm so thankful that we got Bulbasaurs so cheaply, so quickly. I just think this is such a pretty plant, and really kind of has a unique vibe to it. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with these when they hit Walmarts. So, you know, because they're labeled as Bulbasaurs, can they go to market with that name, right? Because that's Pokemon Company name. I don't know if they could do that. I'm curious. Don't know. All right, cool. I'd say that we have successfully repotted a Monstera. All right, while I get this set up, anybody got any new plant pickups lately? Anybody got new plants they're excited about? I saw some people got some Devils. I saw some people got some Bulbasaurs. Anybody else get anything they're excited about? Double check my battery, make sure we're doing good. It doesn't say. So USB power delivery. We're good. All right. Oh, we gotta water this. Almost forgot. So those of you guys that have been printing these things here, on the inside there's a little lip, by the way. That's the water level indicator. So if you just fill up to the top of that lip, your plant will have the exact amount of water it needs. And that'll last at least a week, if not longer. Oh, I suddenly wonder, let's see here. Romark's Flame, mints, elbows, nice. Crocheted an Ethereum leaf, nice. Good so far, awesome. All right. Okay. Let's start taking a look at some of you guys' plants. I will repot this mint. I want to be respectful of your guys' time. We've already done one repot, so you're gonna probably miss this. I might do this as a short. We did one of these last time, so I've already done the chore for this. Literally, we're just gonna get the fluval stratum off of here and go put it in just like we did here. We will put a moss pole on this one as well. So I'm not gonna bother doing that on the stream today. I think I'd rather give you guys some time and take a look at you guys' plants. So give me a couple seconds here. We're gonna set up a new little setup. I feel like we should just put this girl right here. She's very nice. Whew. Wait, there's Funko Pop Tycons? Hold up. I'm not a big Funko Pop guy, but I get down that. Funko Pop Monstera. Is that really a thing? Oh my gosh, it is. No way. I have one Funko Pop. I have exactly one. It is the that meme of the dog where it's just sitting at the table and everything's on fire and he's just like, this is fine. I have that as a Funko Pop because I couldn't not have that. Man, I might have to get one of those. I didn't even know that was a thing. All right, I'm gonna set up a little table here. I'm gonna do something where you guys can see my stuff. Oh, I have spilled water all over my floor. My bad. Oh my gosh. I know you guys can't see this, but even I'm surprised by the amount of leca that's on the floor, and I did it. All right. Let's see, how do we want to do this? All right. Hopefully by next time I'll be able to like screen share or something. I need a second monitor for the iPad or for that thing, so we'll. You forgot to post in the Discord. It's okay. It's okay. If you miss it, even if you're watching this thing back later, shoot me a message on Instagram or Discord, and I will try to get through all these this weekend. If you're watching this like 2 weeks later, I will not remember. All right, disk. To the disk. Dun, 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 dun. Not now. All right, let's take a look here. Oh goodness, let's go. All right, cool. And also those of you that are signed up for the book club but didn't get anything, please make sure that you shoot me a message either on Discord, either shoot me a message on Discord or Instagram, one of those two places, with the name, like alias you think you signed up for, as well as your email address that you think you used. I went back through the listing and I found quite a few people last time that had typed in, like, instead of Gmail, you wrote GMAI with no L. Like 5 people did the same thing. So there's some people I think just typed in their email addresses a little bit too quickly, and may have then that's why you're not getting your emails. So if you did not get your thing, you know you signed up, please shoot me a message. I will get you taken care of. Do not worry. And you will know that you are correctly signed up if you got notified via email about this thing. So double check your email and make sure. I used to be able to sit down quieter, then I got old. All right, this is gonna work. We'll see. We'll see if this works. Yeah, that works. That's okay. I'm trying to think about like an angle. I think going from the side here might be better because then we won't get so much glare from the other. All right, cool. So I may have set up the stream a little bit wrong. Usually I set up the stream in a particular way that is a little bit quicker so I can have like real-time conversations with you guys. I think we might be like on a minute delay. So I'm just kind of noticing I ask a question and it takes about a minute before somebody says anything. So I do apologize for that. But we are going to take a look at your plants and kind of share with them. I think we're going to do Instagram. We'll do Instagram and Discord. So if you have not done it, we will do that. This is also a great time if you have questions, like if you want to kind of talk about some stuff that you're doing, whether you have a photo or not. Shoot me a message. I already see one in here, and we'll answer questions as well at the same time that we do all of this. So I'm going to move my laptop over here. We're going to focus on my face. This lighting is a little bit dramatic, but we'll go for it. All right. Whether you want to show off or you just have a question, I'm fine with both. So just so we are all clear. So Liz asking, at what point can I add a moss pole to my my Monstera? So the way that I view that basically is your plant basically will start to come up off the ground a little bit. So it's going to try to climb, whether it has something to climb or not. So if you look at this guy, this one has started to leave the ground. This one has started to leave the ground, and we actually have like aerial roots starting to come here. The moment you see this is your sign that it's ready for a moss pole. So it'll leave the ground, pop up, and then you see these guys. It's not like if you've already got like a few up here and you're like all the way up here with some of those, it's fine. You've not like waited too long or anything. I would just go ahead and take care of that. And do that. So When you have root rot but new roots growing, do you always cut the rot? No. If I have new roots growing, but I have some like older root rot happening, I typically just leave it alone. The act of like pulling it out of the dirt or the leca and kind of cleaning up the old rot, I find just exacerbates the problem of the existing rot. If it's already growing new stuff, what I typically will do, especially if it's in leca, is I will just flush a lot of water through it, and I will make sure that I add something called HydroGuard to my nutrient solution. So HydroGuard is a root inoculant, and it is supposed to, I just spit a giant spittle, sorry. It's supposed to help the plant basically be able to break down those old roots. Also, if you have like soil mites, so most of you have them, you just don't realize it, but they're these little mites that are in your soil, and they're beneficial. Springtails are another kind of thing, but they will go in there and clean up the decaying matter. So if you've seen new root growth going, that like bright white new root growth, but you've got a little bit of rot, I leave it. If you got like stem rot, then yes, you pull it out. But if it's just a little bit of rot, I'm not going to pull it out. I used to feel like I needed to pull it out immediately, but I have found that if I've got new roots growing, it's usually fine. Okay. Let's see here. Where can you sign up? Technically, signups are closed, but if you had signed up before, shoot me a message on Instagram at The Plant and the Pour, or shoot me a message in the Discord, which I will, anytime you ask me, hit the button for. Let's see, when you have, do all Monsteras need moss poles? No Monstera technically needs a pole. I mean, they will grow without it. Like, you can have a plant with no pole. They look better when they have support. So if you want to grow that like showy, really nice, that plant that like people walk into your house and they go, oh my gosh, you're going to want some kind of a support. And I don't mean like some sort of like a trellisy kind of thing. I mean some sort of solid support. So whether you go like me and you do the whole moss pole thing, which I do not because it needs it, but because it makes it way easier when I cut my plants in half when they hit the ceiling. So when they hit the ceiling, I cut the plant in half and then take that top half and put it into the bottom of the pot to keep growing it. It makes that process way easier because I have a full root system in the moss pole. That's why I do what I do. And the other reason is that I find that moss poles tend to keep things a little bit more compact and kind of focused over even just normal climbing supports, unless you're very on top of your kind of guidance of that pole. So that's kind of my logic with that. So they're not required. Highly recommended. If bare minimum, go get a cedar plank and stick it behind your plant, and it'll make things way better. How do I know when it's time to upsize my pot? So the way that I typically say, actually, if you want really great advice, just in terms of Monstera, Lee from Kill This Plant, or Kill That Plant. I think it's Kill This or Kill That. Somebody put it in the comments, they'll know. But he does fantastic advice for Monstera. He's actually somebody I've picked up advice from. We do not grow Monstera the same way. He doesn't use moss poles. He grows in dirt. We do things differently, but his advice is solid, especially when it comes to like when to repot them. You basically want the root ball to kind of look like ramen noodles in there. So when you can kind of pull out the dirt from the plant and you see that kind of ramen noodle look, that's the time. So I'm not talking like you see a couple roots coming out the bottom. I'm not talking you pull it up and you're like, ooh, I see a couple of roots here and there. I'm not talking that. I'm talking when you pull that thing out of the pot, that like 60 to 80% of it just looks like a ramen noodle mess. That's when I'm going to pull it out of the pot, and then I'm literally going to take that root ball, I'm going to put it into my next pot, and then add extra dirt or leca around it. You saw what I did with mine, right? I didn't do anything to adjust it. I just put it in like that. So you don't need to do anything like that. So, all right, let's look at your plants. All right. If I butcher your username, I am sorry. I'm also going to ask questions about your plants. All right, so this is Is it Swinny? I think it's this. Swinny? Oh no. Sewinity. I think it's just Sewinity. All right, cool. All right, lovely, lovely Tycon we've got going on here. Let's see if we can get this the best way to show this. I think this, lovely, lovely tie. So we're starting to get some interfenestration. You are doing everything correctly. I see nothing wrong here. I see a little Hoya over here in the corner, hiding over here. I might need to brighten the screen up a little bit. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna pull this up a little bit, make this a little brighter. I think that'll make this better. Yeah. All right. I even see a little Hoya. Everybody, we can start peeking your house. Some hydrogen peroxide back here. All right. Back to the actual plant. Yeah, so we're good, right? We've got interfenestration. We're sizing up nicely. So when I'm evaluating this plant, what I am looking for is I am looking for a plant that is sizing up each leaf, right? So every leaf is getting bigger, and then we are starting to get bigger leaves and more fenestration. Hey, Willow. What's up, girl? Wanna come say hi? Put your head right here. Let's see. Oh, you're running away from me. Hey, get your butt back here. Goober. All right, she's kicked the thing with her tail. You can kind of, she's hiding. All right, so what we're looking for, we are looking for those bigger leaves, right? So we're getting more fenestrations on every leaf. We are seeing more and more fenestrations. We are seeing interfenestrations. This is exactly what you want to see. What we would look for signs of like too little light would be if we were losing interfenestration or we were losing size. So if we're starting to lose any of this, that'd be a sign that they needed to increase their light. It has also come to my attention that the next photo has a cat in it. So we will absolutely be sharing the photo of the cat that is checking out. Does your plant chew this? Or does your cat chew your plant? This looks like troublemaking right here. That's exactly what that looks like. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Nothing, no notes. All right, so this one is Karina, Thai constellation today. Today is Repot Day. Hey, me too. And the leaf is the first new leaf that finally appeared about 3 weeks ago. Nice, nice. So we're getting new leaves. Oh man, look at this. Okay, your roots actually look healthier than mine. You've been paying better attention to your plant than I have. So check this out. This is like poster child for healthy hydroponic roots. So we got a nice new leaf. Look at these things. Nice and white, nice and clean here. I'm gonna brighten this up a little bit. Okay, see how white and clean these things are? This is nice, healthy roots. If you are trying to figure out like what is your goal, this is your goal. This is it. This looks fantastic. Great, great work. Love that. Very, very nice. A little bit of brown on the bottom, that's not a problem at all, right? We've got a little bit of browning on the bottom of the roots there. That's fine. We're not worried about that. That's not rot. We have so much nice, healthy white roots. This thing is fantastic. Great, great work. Great work. All right. Great work here. Let's see here. All right, let's take a look here. Next one. Who we got? Ooh. Is this a Bulbasaur? What is this? This is, this is really pretty. It kind of has that Thai look on the oldest leaves, but this newest leaf, this is something cool. Like, I'm gonna adjust the light here for a second. We'll focus on this. Take a look at this. That newest leaf, I'm gonna darken it because look at that thing. That's super pretty. Like, is that just a Thai? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. gorgeous. I really like that. Very pretty. Looks great. I'm seeing, so some things that I'm paying attention to here. I am looking right here, so you can see some new root growth here. So something to be kind of aware of as you're kind of doing this is looking for those moments where you've got kind of seeing that root growth. Again, this is not a sign that this thing is like anywhere near ready to be repotted, right? We are looking to see new root growth. We would want to see roots all over the place, right? We would want to see this whole thing, kind of like that one we looked at before that had roots everywhere. That's kind of what we're going for. We want to see roots everywhere. But this is a great sign that this plant is going to be doing great, right? We've got this root kind of coming up front here. Great work with this one. Keep going, doing exactly what you're doing. This thing looks super healthy. That leaf is nuts, though. Like I'm obsessed with this leaf. Oh, okay. Look. All right. We have other flexing. You guys might not have noticed this. I see your Warquinium here, or Warquinium. That is a true flex right there. That is it. If you're doing that, you've got something going on. Great work with that Warquinium. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I don't care. Great work. I know we're looking at your Monstera, and that's so pretty. That's such a pretty leaf. You got another tie back there too. But man, that's pretty. Okay. Next one. So this one actually, there was a question. Let's see. So is the amber, any suggestion for my current Monstera setup? It's doing fine and thriving, see my new growth, but visually is everything okay? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. We're gonna go horizontally with this one because it's a little bit wider. So a couple things that we can see. One, I'm gonna tell you that you're not doing anything wrong. This is just gonna be like, if it were me and like what I would maybe consider doing just for my personal preferences. So looking at this girl here. So what I see is when I'm looking at this thing, you have what I'm going to say is a small form Monstera. So you're correct here in getting it some kind of a support. These look like mossify poles or something similar. These ones that you can kind of bend around and kind of guide things around. Me personally, I don't see any signs of overwatering here, which is really great. You are starting to see some sizing up. But what I would probably say for you, honestly, is this plant is going to outgrow these poles really quickly. These kind of bendy poles. One, these are not moss poles. Hopefully you know these. These are what are called coir poles. You don't keep these wet. There's no way to keep them actually damp. So they're just for support, which I'm sure you know, but just saying for those that maybe don't. So you don't even try to bother keeping them wet. But like I said, I do love that I'm not seeing any signs of overwatering here. The two things that I would say, I don't know what your lighting situation is on this one, but I think I would go for giving this thing a little bit more light. It looks like maybe there's a window right there on the side here. It's definitely reaching for it. So I would turn this plant to face this light entirely, because it's going to do it whether you want it or not. So what I do is, like, when I have a plant that I'm doing with natural light only, I face them towards the window 99% of the time. So I have these things pressed up against a window, getting as much light as they can all the time. And then when I have company over, or like in the evening, if I want to take a gander at it and just kind of enjoy my own plant, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it towards me to face the room. Stumbino in our Discord actually made a really interesting recommendation of a planter that basically like automatically rotated itself for like growing purposes. And I actually think somebody should come up with a Monstera thing, and maybe I'll be the one to do this. But I think somebody should come up with a like a Lazy Susan rotator that's motorized, and you can set it up on a timer that basically will automatically rotate your plant into the facing inwards during the night so that you can enjoy your plant, and then turn it to face the sun at night. So that's or turn it during the day. So I'm working on that. I don't know how possible it's going to be, but I think it'd be fun. All right, let's take a look at another one. Yeah, good stuff. I think, like I said, I would go for a cedar plank and be a little bit more diligent with pinning that thing to the poles, because it looks like it's kind of coming off a little bit. And then I would just get it a little bit closer to that window, and just, it's going to look ridiculous in your room, but face it towards that sun, get more light. Hello, hello, Duel. All right, let's take another one. Okay, this is one I want to talk about. This is Jen Alda. I want to talk about this because this is something I think you got a little discouraged on something, and I don't want you to. So, you had mentioned you said doing well, but you were it sounds like maybe you were a little concerned about getting less fenestration on your newest leaf. I would personally not worry too much about this. You have like slightly less, but this newest leaf is bigger. So we're looking for two things. It's okay if you get slightly less fenestration, as long as the newest leaf is physically larger. Especially if you did like a repot or anything around here, like that could also affect the leaf size. I would not be too worried about this. I think this is perfectly fine. This might be a sign to increase your light. So if you get another new leaf and you're still kind of seeing it like, oh, you know, maybe it's the same size or just barely bigger, and you're seeing less fenestration than you have now, then I would go ahead and maybe consider giving this thing a bit more light. As is, I don't think there's anything wrong with giving your plant more light anyways, but this is, right now, I would not be too worried about this. You have a bigger leaf. It's not much bigger. So this to me says increase your light a little bit and see if you get a bigger leaf next time. But I would not be discouraged about this. This is a perfectly healthy looking plant. You're not overwatering it. You are, all the important stuff you're hitting just fine. So good work. Don't feel discouraged just because you don't have, it's not perfect, perfectly bigger fenestrations. I think even the Bulbasaur did the same thing at some point. I think we had a smaller leaf that came out with less fenestration. So it happens to the best of us. So, all right, let's take a look at another one. Mow plants. All right, you're flexing here. This is gorgeous. Good work. All right, I'm looking at this. Sorry, I'm not sharing the photo. I should do this. All right, great work. So we got a whole wall of Monstera here. Okay, so lovely, lovely color on all of these. I will say this too, by the way, as somebody that's grown quite a few Tycons now, I will always favor this style of variegation where it's more mottled all over the leaf than what I have back here with Perseus. That's kind of got these huge white splotches. It's really hard to keep those without browning, and even I don't have the conditions in my home to do it. But having this more balanced kind of splotchy variegation, you will have your plants looking way better. I don't clip roots, Olivia. I keep my roots. I like my roots. Is it root or rot concern? Oh, at what point? I bet that's supposed to be rot concern. So if roots are healthy, I don't clip them. I'll just say that up front. In terms of when I would actually clip the roots, if I see absolutely no new growth, right? If I don't see anything healthy coming out, that's when I'm going to get in there maybe and clean up some of the rot. Because if it looks like it's going to, because basically what happens is the rot will extend back to the stem, and then the stem can rot. So my worry is basically if I have rot that's just continuing to progress towards the stem, that's when I'm going to get involved. And unfortunately, you do have to kind of dig around a little bit. So I'm going to dig around the stem of the plant because the auxiliary roots and all that stuff are going to be, a little bit lower down. So towards the stem, towards the top, you can usually get to just fine. So I'm okay taking a little spoon or something and just kind of digging out a little bit and checking the roots that are really close to the stem. As long as those roots that are really close to the stem aren't rotting, it's usually okay to leave, as long as you see new growth. If you see no new growth and you see rot really close to the stem, that's when you got to get involved. What do you do with 5 to 6 feet long area roots that are just hanging? If possible, I will just coil them into the pot. If it's just a few of them, I don't know. I'd have to see it. Sometimes if I can like repot it and like coil those into the pot, I love getting those roots into the pot because that's what they want to do. They want to get in there and they want to establish. So if I can get them tucked in, I will. That's my goal, always. But yeah, this is fantastic. Great work on this one. So let's take a look. Let's kind of take a look and see what we think about this plant. So we're gonna look here. We've got kind of small starter leaf here. Looks like we got going on here. I'm doing this through a live stream, so I'm looking at my laptop here to point at this. So okay, so we've got, there we go. Let's see. We got a little white monster down here. It looks lovely. Okay, so we got Tycon leaf. Okay, bigger. We're starting to get fenestrations. This, it's hard for me to tell. Let's see, this is leaf. I think older, I'm having a hard time telling which leaf is the newest leaf. I think it's this one in the back. It almost looks like this one might not be getting enough light. It's hard for me to tell. Like if this is the newest leaf and this is the biggest leaf, I think we're okay. But this leaf is taller, so I can't tell if this is an older leaf. I think it's a bit of an illusion. I think this is coming up from this stem, and then this one is a little bit higher, and so I think we're okay. But again, what I'm looking for is more fenestrations and or bigger. As long as I see those two things, we're going to be okay. Your burl marks flame here though, this one needs more light. This thing should be fenestrating by now. Yeah, I would. The burl marks flame, by the way, the more than any Monstera I've ever seen in my life, nuke these things with light, and they will fenestrate for you. So they take so much light to fenestrate and grow. Otherwise, they just don't do anything. But yeah, let that leaf grow out. As long as it has the same amount of fenestrations or more, this looks super healthy. And you've obviously got a light coming in here. Is this like a Sansi, like one of the Sansi lights maybe, or a T1S maybe? I feel like it's a T1S for some reason. It just looks like it to me. You might just be, you've got a lot of plants kind of sharing light here. I think I would probably try to increase the light if you could. So either to pop in another grow light in here, especially this burl marks flame, because it's not variegating, or not variegating, not fenestrating. I think I said vinegar that earlier. Because it's not fenestrating, I would say this one's tall enough that I think it should be fenestrating by now. So other than that, they're obviously very healthy. So that's just what I personally would do. But lovely. They're obviously very healthy. So one of the things I'm really loving with all of you guys, by the way, you guys are healthy waterers. Waterers. So all these we're seeing here, right? You guys are doing a really great job with your watering. Hello, I started growing a Tycon last year, but I live in a cold climate and it died because of a particular cold storm. So are you growing outside? Like, you want to make sure, so basically the rule with Monstera is you want to keep them, they can go down to like the 40s and be okay temporarily, but the goal is to keep them 50 degrees or warmer, if you can, so they don't like go dormant. Okay, new growth points, nice. Devil into acclamation, heck yeah. Yeah, so like for me, like you want to make sure that that thing doesn't get below 50. So whether you have like a greenhouse, and you need to like, because they make those like, they make the greenhouse like tents that you can buy, and they usually have like the foil insulation on them. And sometimes with those, if you put a couple grow lights in them, they can actually get quite warm inside of them. So that might be a decent a decent option for you. Look up some like the anthurium growers. They typically have those tents. Not me. I make mine suffer. Mine are all suffering in 30% humidity. They do okay. All right, but yeah, I would look into one of those tents. If you're getting below 50 degrees and there's nothing you can do about the weather, look into getting one of those tents. They're not prohibitively expensive. All right, let's take a look here. More plants. Mo plants, lovely. Oh, just cut off. Oh, you gave me text. I should have read your thing. I just read your message here. Yeah, there is a lot going on there. Oh, small leaves in the middle. Okay, if I had read this, I would have known that. My bad. I apologize. I was excited. The plant was so pretty. I just, ooh. Okay. Good question on this one. It comes from Anna. So Anna says, my Bulbasaur has less and less variegation, so I chop it and wait for more leaves. Okay, so let's take a look at this guy. Okay, so I will... My organ is moist. How dare you? So Bulbasaur here. It's tough to say. The thing with variegation in Monstera, and especially something like the Bulbasaur that we don't know a lot about yet, there's different kinds of variegation, and I can't speak to power here. I can't speak to for sure on these. There's different kinds of variegation. So like a tie constellation, one of the things that makes ties, like I think one of the best plants that you can just go out and buy, is that the variegation that makes a tie is like built into every cell of the plant, right? You never see ties reverting, really. You can give them too little light and they kind of get a little bit less colorful, but ties don't really revert. Some of the Bulbasaurs I have seen revert. I'm curious about light. I'm assuming you have it turned the other direction during the day. I'd be curious to know what direction this light or this window is. Yeah, so there is you've got a little bit of yellowing. I'm not too worried about that. So I will give this to you guys here. So there's this Mo. Was that your previous plant? I think that was the previous plant. Yeah, I don't see anything that's worrying. Nothing worrying there. Oh, maybe you're talking about this one. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So not worried. If I see an older leaf, the oldest leaf of a plant yellowing, I not a split second. I don't think about it for a moment. I don't waste a moment of nervousness about it. If it's the oldest leaf, I do not care. If I see like a new leaf yellowing, I care. I see this fungus gnat trap. Go in our link tree. I'm gonna post this here. In the link tree is a link for a product called Microbe Lift. And I don't typically give you product recommendations, but if you're actually struggling with fungus gnats, the stuff is Microbe Lift. It's fungus gnat killer, basically. It's BTI drops is what it is. I cannot pronounce it. It's bad. Nope, I'm not going to try. It's a very big word. It's like $7. Go grab some of this if you're dealing with fungus gnats. Although you don't have very many on here. So you either just replace this for the photo or you don't have a big fungus gnat problem. But BTI drops have I sometimes would get them in my moss poles. And I no longer get them because I started using it. It kills the grubs and they can't live. But anyways, BTI drops in combination with these and you'll never have fungus gnats again. And just do it every watering. You just it's like 2 drops per gallon. It is not much. Stuff is insanely concentrated. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're getting bigger leaves. I'm seeing here you did say you were losing some variegation. So the reason I'm nervous to give you too much advice here on hey, should you cut it or whatever. There's different kinds of variegation in Monstera, and I don't know how the Bulbasaur works. So in something like an albo, variegation, you have the stem will have variegation in it, and people have kind of selectively propagated albos to kind of try to bring out variegation, basically. So they'll like see a node that's going over a particularly nice growth point, and they will try to basically do a cutting so that it pops out through there, and it kind of can increase or decrease variegation. I hesitate telling you to cut your Bulbasaur because I don't personally know if that's going to actually help you, right? If activating a lower growth point is going to help, I don't know that, because I don't know if the variegation pattern in a Bulbasaur comes from the actual like a Tycon, from the cellular information of the plant, or whether it comes from the stem. So what I will say is that I did notice that I had this leaf that came from my Bulbasaur, very, very nicely variegated, and that was when I had the plant in tissue culture in my Quorum condo, really, really close to the light. And then I had to move it because it was too tall for the shelf it was on, and I actually started to see less and less variegation in mine. But then my plant got big enough that it got really close to the light again, and all of a sudden I got much, much better variegation. So light and variegation is an interesting interaction. There are some plants that basically, as you increase the light, you can get more variegation. You can't just spontaneously create variegation, but it's like if the plant isn't getting enough light, it almost seems to get more green to survive, because the variegated sections are less effective or not effective at all, depending on the type of variegation, at actually photosynthesizing. So I have found that increasing the light can help in some plants. So I would start with light. I would get some sort of a good grow light and put that right in front of it, like a Sansi grow bulb just crammed up in front of it. Do it acclimated over a week or two. But that's what I would recommend trying, is increasing the light first, and seeing if that helps. Until I know for sure how the variegation works on a Bulbasaur. If I find that out, I will happily update my answer on that one, but I don't know. I don't know if it's built into the actual cellular level on this plant or not. To be honest, there's actually not a lot of information on Bulbasaurs. Let's see here. Oh, Ro gave the exact same answer. Hit it with a bunch of light. That's funny. All right, thank you, Ro. All right, Ro's one of my OGs. All right, next plant. This one comes from Dryban. All right, I think I should repot her soon. Let's have a good talk. All right, Dryban. No, I'm gonna say no. Don't repot yet. So it's gonna be hard for you guys to see. I apologize. I'm gonna brighten this thing up here real quick. Yeah, Rose legit. All right, let's see. So this is not what I'm talking about when I'm talking ramen noodles. This is like, I'll say 15 to 20% there. This will, like, when it's ready to be repot, it's gonna look absolutely insane in here. You can clip this guy off. If this is bothering you, you can get rid of it. This is not gonna hurt anything. I would let this thing get packed in here. Like, let this thing look ridiculous, like ramen noodles. Like when you break open a packet of ramen noodles, that's what you're gonna want. You can't buy it in BTI. Mo, do I need to bring you up some when I come from Oregon? Why can't you get BTI drops? That's fascinating. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I would wait. So I would want to see like 3 times the amount of roots in here, and like big, chunky, thicker roots. With that said, this plant is very healthy. So don't change the thing. Let her cook. I got a nice ND filter here I can adjust. All right, let's creep the rest of her plants while we're here. We're gonna creep your plants here. All right, let's see what we got here. We got an Anthurium down here. What is this? It's like maybe pterodactyl of some kind. What is this, Dryban? Some sort of cross, right? I don't recognize this. This looks like a Clarinervium pterodactyl or something like that. What's that plant called? Pterodactyl. Nice little silver satin pothos. This is one of the larger varieties. Sir would know what this is. Oh, I don't remember what this one is. That's not Silverian. That's Exotica, maybe? Oh, it's a Delta. Okay, so Delta. So you've got one of the Deltas that's, I think you've got one like mine, or like one of my other ones. I'll be curious to see what this looks like long term. So deltas are a cross, or believed to be a cross between Clarinervum and it's like pterodactyl. I forget exactly how you pronounce it. But I got one of these. This is one of the TC ones. Where's this? You get this from seed. Some of the TC ones are like a slightly different version than the original strain. So keep me posted. I'm really curious to see how this matures. I actually just sold mine. I kind of regret doing it, but I have one of these crosses I got from Orange Lake. My Delta. We're gonna take a brief pause because if I get a chance to show off my Delta, I'm doing it. I got this one at PlantCon, and it spit out this leaf, and I am in love with this leaf. This is like, are you kidding me? Like, look at this thing. This is just, I need this in my life. Nice. Okay, yeah. So you probably have that Delta Force you have is probably one. It looks a lot like the. There's different strains of it basically, and the original strain usually has a bit of a flatter sinus, but all anthuriums there's a lot of variation in them. But you've got a cool one. Don't like I'm not like saying yours isn't real or anything like that. It's just there's just different strains of them basically. So it might not have the flat sinus. It may have this more of a kind of a bat kind of look to it. Mo, sir, I'm coming to Seattle in 2 weeks. I'm going through. I'm mildly serious as long as I wouldn't get in trouble for it too much. I'd almost consider bringing some. It'll last you forever, dude. A bottle of BTI, it's like $7 for this bottle, and it's 2 drops per gallon. I bought mine God knows how long ago, and I go through, I think, 15 gallons of nutrient solution a week. And I've not made a dent in my bottle. It's forever. All right. Let's see. I really want to try my hand at crossing some anthurium. I've never bred one. Let's see. I'm creeping around your plant room. What's this? Is this a melanochrysum hiding back here? Is that what's going on here? Respect. I respect it. Oh, we got a pothos coming up the moss pole. Love that. Sir Forrest will be proud of you. Oh, you got another anthurium back there. Nice. Good job. Yeah, I would just say keep doing what you're doing. Let it keep going. Okay. All right. Next one, Astrid. Let's take a look here. All right, so we got looks like some form of an albo maybe. Let's see here. Focus. Ooh. All right. Yep. See, we're getting the bigger leaves. Ooh. I gotta look at this one in person. That's gorgeous. Really, really pretty. Look at that. Oh, that's right. You got the orange. Mine lost like 3 of its leaves. It's got 1 leaf left. It's doing a little. It took the acclimation a little hard. It's stable now, but man, first few days it was not happy. This is great. No, perfect. No notes. Is this the same plant? Hold up. What's the story here? Is there 2 different plants? The same plant? This is gorgeous. This is insane. Great color on this one. May, June, and July leaves. I think it's all the same plant. Astrid, this is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, KR. All right, how dare you? No notes. Perfect. You're doing great on that one. I'm infuriated by this. This is one plant I cannot win with, and I kind of talked about it before. Bromark's Flame and me. Mine is the dumbest plant I've ever seen in my life. It keeps like half of the leaf will just eat itself and it'll just decay off. And I don't know why. I'm assuming it's some humidity thing. I think it's just my humidity's too low and it freaks out. But this is great. Great work. I'm slightly mad at you because mine doesn't look like this. I mean it in the best way possible, but yeah, killer. Also, by the way, you'll notice that their Monstera, you see how theirs are laying nice and flat? That's because their light direction is coming in from the side. If you want your Monsteras to lay flat like this so that you can see, you have to light them from the side. If you light them from above, they'll be like my Bulbasaur over here that's kind of got the flat leaves up like that. So this is actually something I want to do more of when I eventually get a new house. I want to actually go ahead and, hey, don't growl. Willow's back there being spicy. I want to actually, oh, you can actually see her. She's right there. Willow's joining us. Oh, she saw me point at her. Now she's going to want love. She almost got sprayed by a skunk the other night. It was bad. Anyways, yeah, look. When your plant looks better than mine, I can't really give you notes. I'm salty. That's so nice. What are your if KR, if you're in here, I want to know what your ambient humidity is like in your house. Mine's 35. So like every plant you see in my house, 35% humidity. I do absolutely nothing for my plants other than that. 35% humidity, lots of light, good luck. They are in hydroponic. I think that does help. So for what it's worth, I think that is beneficial. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Great work. And I know that you have another white monster over here, and I know I'm ignoring it, but this right here. This right here. Good work. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice the other. There's another monster at the bottom. I missed this one. Yeah, so again, same thing, right? When we're evaluating the health, these plants are healthy. You've got new growth coming in here. You've got nice, bigger leaves. We got fenestration coming in here. Good stuff. Now, what I will say for you guys that don't like the moss pole things, this elbow down here, take a look at this. It looks like this is leca. Yep, we got leca down here. So we're in leca. And there is not a moss pole here. They're actually just growing this thing on what looks like a stick. I think they literally have a stick just shoved in the thing here. So like you can still have pretty plants, no moss pole here. Would I put a moss pole on this? Sure. Would I put a cedar plank in here in leca? I actually don't know about that question. If I would put cedar in a leca, I might put it on the outside of the pot and like zip tie it to it or something. But this is perfectly fine. Perfectly healthy plant. There's no moss pole. Okay, so you can have really cool plants like this. Dude, I don't know how these work. I'm from the 90s or 80s and 90s, and I know that these do something, but I have I've never been able to get those to work. Yeah, staked in leca. Florida. All right, so maybe, I wonder if it's humidity. I wonder if I just need to put that thing in higher humidity and see what happens to it, but it's just kind of ugly. I'm going to be real with you. Mine's kind of ugly. I think it's just humidity. Because it seems to be pretty consistent among the people I've helped with. All right, I'm going to show you guys a photo. I'm enjoying this. I get to see these a little bit before you do. I'm going to show you guys the greatest self-watering moss pole I've ever seen in my life. This comes from Balloon. So this says April 28th versus today. Ended up chopping 90% of the roots off when transitioning to leca in May. It took a while, but the new leaf is worth it, and I agree. Get ready for this absolute glow up here, and so we're starting off strong, right? We've got our plant here. Looks great. Okay, this is where we started, and back on the 28th of whenever it was. Oh, yeah, there we go. Nope. I'm smarter than them. Look at this. Look at this glow up. Perfect. I'd love to know if you're in chat here. I'd love to know what light you're using right now. This looks really bright. This is either I'm going to say either the Sanzi or the TR40. This almost looks like it might be bright enough to be the TR40. But this plant is super stoked. Like you guys see how fast this plant went from just base fenestrations to like full on inner fenestration. This has got to be getting cranked with light, and I am here for it. This is fantastic. Also, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, This is the greatest self-watering moss pole I've ever seen in my life. What? Just a 15 watt? Wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. That's really crazy results. Is it getting any natural light? Is this all just that? Or is it like really close? Like where is this light? That's actually can't be that far away, but man, that's I'm gonna have to look up what that LED is because that seems like it is doing work. That or it just felt the moss pole and went nuts. One of the two. Did you do a moss pole at the same time? Is that what happened? Because they will pump up bigger lights or bigger leaves if you put them on that pole pretty quick. So I wonder if you did a pole at the same time. Man, good work. I love this. This is the kind of ingenuity we do this right here. This perfection right here. I do like the electrical wires 2 inches from the from the water receptacle. I'm gonna tease you about that and the metal pole. I'm not saying this is an electrocution hazard. I'm just saying I wouldn't touch this moss pole. All right, lovely. No notes. Perfect. Great job. I'm actually really impressed with the amount of growth that you're seeing with such a what would be objectively, I would say, a pretty low light item. Low wattage is what I'm trying to say. But you're obviously getting enough PPFD, so good stuff. You might find as you get bigger, you're gonna have to get sometimes those smaller, like the 15 watt bulbs. They can't spread out as much light, so you might find as it gets bigger that it starts slowing down, and when that happens, get a bigger light and just add it. All right, I didn't look through this list. Mo Plants, you're back with Mo Plants. Lovely. No notes. Honestly, you're looking good here. It's hard to tell without context, but looks good. Oh, you got one of those fancy. Look at this. Have you considered using a plastic cup or a paper cup instead of this nice, well-fitting setup? I've heard good things about paper cups. Looks great. It'd be easier to tell in context what's going on here, but plant looks healthy otherwise. I don't have one of these little tetrasperma. I don't have one of these. This is I can focus on this guy. Actually, I have not checked the battery level of my device. What does it say? It says it's like 20 something. We'll be okay. Nice. It's hard to tell without context, but it sounds like you said it's sizing up, so perfect. Good work. Ooh. Yeah, oblique was, oh, it's so weird seeing myself. It freaks me out a little bit. Oblique was respect. I want to grow one of these. I keep thinking I'm going to get one, and then I just haven't. I want one of these. I forgot about these, to be honest with you. I wanted, when I first started getting into them, I really wanted them, and I watched some video that said they were like really finicky and weird, and low humidity. Theo, that's great. Great work. That's really pretty. Let's see here. Let's see, Audrey. All right, let's see. Woo! When was this? Dang. All right, you guys are gonna love this. Check out this glow up. All right, so this is back a little ways. So this is a little bit before. This is October 2025. So just in perspective here, this is about when I was taking that Bulbasaur Monstera out of its tissue culture. This is when this photo was taken. Check out the glow up on this burl marks. Look at that. Look, you're beating me. Like mine. You know what? I've actually noticed that a lot of these that you guys have that are growing better than mine aren't on moss poles. Was that earlier one on a moss pole? I've noticed a lot of people growing these things on just like cedar planks or like just things. I wonder if my moss pole is the problem. I wonder if it's because it's like not consistently staying moist or something. This looks great. Fantastic. Like this is, look, we all want this. I'm gonna be real with you. Mine's just ugly. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna figure out why mine's so ugly. We're gonna work on it. You guys are re-inspiring me. Yeah, that's crazy. Love the plank better, and I feel like that's the case. I feel like the ones that I see thriving are not on moss poles. And as much as I love moss poles, I'm thinking about taking mine off and just doing plank. Interesting. All right, let's see. Who's next? Maleficent's mom. Nice. Very nice. Magnificent Maleficent. There you go. All right, let's take a look. All right, so first thing I'm gonna say, a lot of these have been reverting, so don't freak out because yours is kind of like losing color. It's kind of a trait with these white monsters. It's not even a fault of tissue culture or anything like that. Kunzo himself, the cult, if you've ever seen the video where he actually talks about this, his whole process with these, he talks about this, that even his do this, and when he does it, he cuts his back. So I actually think that white monsters are not one, like if you want to keep the variegation, I actually think that white monsters are going to be like, you grow them and keep them small, almost. I just have a feeling that a lot of them kind of revert like this. I've not seen a lot of really big, I know they're kind of newer, but I've not seen a lot of really big white monsters with good color. I watched Matthew West make brownies with white monster. He took brownie mix, he mixed in like a third of a white monster and an egg, and he made brownies with it. And I'm not saying I'd try it, but I'm curious. All right, yeah, good stuff here. All looks good, Maleficent. Good stuff. I see your Sansi up there cooking. Good work. You might even try to bring it closer, only because I think these white monsters respond pretty well to light. So if you're not burning your plant, you might even bring it closer and see if some of your color comes back. I'm kind of curious to see if that would help. But yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in a lot of the white monsters. Oh, come on. Look at this. All right. You guys need to settle down. This is really nice. I know some of you guys have not tried to grow this plant, but this plant is notoriously finicky. This is one of the nicest one, if not the nicest one I've ever seen. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. All right, let's see here. Ooh, hey, there we go. So this is Fids. My rehab Thai pushed its first new leaf in a year. I got it April of 2024, and then thrips attacked. Bought another Thai for the book club, and the new leaf is... All right, let's see. First off, congratulations for beating thrips. They are a nightmare. I've never had to deal with them personally, but I've had some friends that have had to do that. All right. All right, so here's our glow up. We have, I'm assuming this is about a year old, and then we have a new one. Look at this. All right, so here's our glow up. We have the original to now. You guys are killing it. Good work. Good work. No notes. So what we're looking for again, we're taking a look. This is perfectly normal. See this little browning on here? The high variegated section, it's just gonna happen in most homes. Unless you're in a Thailand greenhouse and you can replicate those conditions, you're gonna have it happen. High humidity and lots of light will keep the browning from happening. But again, with Tycons, one of the reasons it makes them so great is because their variegation doesn't always go through the every single layer of the leaf. So they're able to hold their leaf structure without browning off. So again, like this section right here, this is eventually going to brown most likely, which is fine. It's going to happen. But most ties, because they have these kind of like different layers of the leaf that have variegation, they tend to not brown as much as like something like an albo will. But yeah, this is gorgeous. Great work. Great glow up. For the guys that missed it a second ago, that was the original. So we've gone from this. This is very hard to do backwards, just so we're all clear. All right, let's see. This to that. Like, that's fantastic. Great work. I'm enjoying this. Good job. I'm loving seeing people. Yeah, yeah. That was the correct reaction GIF to to that plant. Hey, hush. Hey, no. Willow, settle. All right, dry band. This does happen. Sometimes grass seeds and stuff get into your moss poles, and then they will sprout grass. I've had that happen before too. Very fun. All right, let's see. Let's look at more. All right, we're gonna kind of fly through some of these because some of these are just more pretty ties. Very nice. I think this one. I think this is that tree leaf? Or oh yeah, here we go. It's a wooden stake. So again, people, you can use the cedar, the wood stuff. It does work just fine. Again, I like moss. You do not need to follow my example there. I just happen to like it. Audrey, you're more flexing from Audrey. Audrey. I don't know. Dry band. Why is she acting like this? Because it's a melanochrysum, and they have a mind of their own. So it's just growing leaves and weird, goofy ways. This is something, by the way, if you're trying to grow melanochrysum, until they start coming out of caterpillar or whatever, and they kind of keep coming out of the stem, they will do this like super derpy kind of way to grow. Eventually, they change the way that they basically grow as they mature, and they start coming out of their leaf sheaths a lot better. Lots and lots of humidity is the solution. And then just accept that you're going to have some ugly leaves here and there. Ooh. Okay, Shanaria. We got some Monstera here. I have no idea how many submissions we got. I forget sometimes that we had like 3,000 people sign up for this thing, so I'm like, I just started this without paying attention. Very lovely. So we've got, I think this is one of those tree leaf trellises. These are really, really interesting. They've reached out a couple times to do something together, but I don't grow my plants this way, so I always felt weird partnering with somebody that I don't use that style of growing. Although, you know what? Maybe I should put my Bromarx flame on. Willow, hush. Hush, or I have to stick you outside. She's mad because the children are outside playing with other children, neighbor kids, and she's not happy. Okay. So we've got our Monstera here. Looks great. Good old support. Oh yeah, you've got all kinds of tree leaf trellises. Trying to get my cat over here. Luna, I don't know where Luna is actually. She doesn't usually come downstairs during the day. All these are great. That's a really interesting leaf. Almost like anthurium kind of veining. It's really interesting. Huh. Yeah, no real notes. More white monsters too. Yeah, you're doing great. Keep giving them light, and you're gonna be set. Fevs, great question. How can I stop my Monstera from yellowing, losing the oldest leaf each time a new one starts to come out? One, that's okay. Like, don't worry too much about it, especially when you're kind of starting with this whole process. They seance their oldest leaves, so they basically reabsorb them and then use them to push new growth, whether that is the roots or the canopy. They're going to be spending some time doing that. That's a perfectly normal thing. Increasing your light, increasing your fertilizer can sometimes help. Light being more important probably in this case. Because they basically, if the leaf is providing more energy than it's taking from the plant, basically, that's kind of what they base that decision on. But if it's the oldest leaf, I don't at all. I never worry about it, especially if it's like an older non-fenestrated leaf. I don't worry about it at all. I am always sad when like your really pretty leaf kind of goes away. But like especially at this phase, you've got fenestration happening, right? So we've got new leaves coming in with more fenestration. Your plant is just sizing up. This is perfectly fine. Worry about this more as the plant matures, right? If this newest leaf starts to yellow or something like that, that's when I get more nervous. But this down here, this is totally normal. And this will go away over time. So as the plant matures, you're gonna see that the leaves hang on for way longer. So once you start getting those interfenestration, those leaves will stay on for weeks, months, that kind of thing. So, all right, let's take a look here. White Steve, I have no idea why you're supposed to file. But we were able to pull it up. That's what matters. Okay, where was I? Yeah. Oh, yeah, good work. You reused the pot. These pots are actually pretty cool. I like the twist mechanism. I almost put it on these pots that I made back here. I almost put a twisty mechanism, but I decided they'd be more annoying when you're trying to water them to have to use 2 hands. Did your roots grow so much that you can't put this thing back in? Is that what happened here? I noticed that it's poking out of the top here. Is that what happened to you? Because that's what happens to me half the time. I bet that's what happened. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Mine's in the twist. Can't fit it back in. Yeah, I had a feeling. Nimbus. Let's take a look at Nimbuses here. Okay. So Nimbus, this is a, yeah, it cuts the roots off. I would agree with that. I didn't feel like I wanted to put it on my pot. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. So the concern was kind of the waviness, right? I forget who this was. Sorry, Nimbus, is that right? Nimbus. So it's a little droopy. Not sure if it needs a stronger light. Maybe. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Let's kind of look for some context clues, okay? So when I'm evaluating a plant, the thing that I'm looking for, right, is kind of a holistic view. So one, I always look for curling and curving leaves. If I see that, that's usually a sign that there's some kind of a hydration/water issue at some point in this plant's life cycle. It doesn't mean that right now this plant has root rot or anything like that. It may mean that this plant had root rot at some point and recovered from it. It could mean that the humidity went wild on it one day. Like, it could mean a bunch of things. But wavy leaves typically, to me, have to do with hydration most of the time. I'm usually looking or considering something along those lines. But when I look at this plant, and you have to be somewhat careful with photos because the perspective can kind of lie to you. But when I look at this thing, you know, we've got fenestration. We had a little bit more fenestration. We had what started as a inner fenestration right here, and then this leaf is really wonky. So I'm going to make some guesses on this plant because I don't know your plant. But if I had to pick a guess, I'm going to guess that it had these 2 leaves on. Maybe it was working on this leaf when it came into your care. And then you took it home and you repotted the plant. And then this is the first new leaf. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just going to guess. Maybe. And I'm going to say, if that's the case, then what I would say is your repot was probably a little bit too aggressive and you may not be giving this plant enough light. So that would be my guess. I would increase the light for sure on this one, and then I would just not repot it and I would leave it alone for a little bit. So Carly, so you asked, so if they keep losing the bottom leaf, will it come a time when they're bold from the bottom? I don't know what bold from the bottom means. They will always lose that bottom leaf, and that's like normal. They just do that. But over time, those leaves start lasting longer. Like the leaves on the bottom of my big tie, some of those leaves are 1.5 years old. So when they're young, they are constantly getting rid of the old leaf and then putting that towards new growth because they don't have a lot of energy to pull from. So they use the energy from the old leaves a lot. As the plant matures, that process slows down. So you might lose a new leaf let's say you get like 2 new leaves and you lose the oldest leaves, like a 2-for-1 situation. That's fine. When you get to the bigger size Tycons and the bigger size Monstera, you could go 20 leaves before it actually seances an old leaf. So the process slows down. Oh, bald. Yeah, so you won't typically, it's not like they're going to go bald, like in your home. What's going to happen is you're going to basically just, when you repot that plant, you're going to plant it a little bit lower in the pot if you can, to kind of cover up that bald spot, because that bald spot is going to grow roots around it. And so you'll just plant it a little bit lower. You don't want to bury any petioles, so like the actual leaves that are coming down, you don't want to bury any of those. But anything that's bald, you're gonna repot up to that line as the plant matures and as it grows. Don't repot early, but just when you go for that repot, you're gonna just take it out, fill it up all the way up to that point, and then go there. But it won't be like obnoxiously bald or anything, because eventually what's going to happen is you're going to cut that plant in half, take the top half, and then plant it. And then the day that you do that, that's when you get that like really, really like low to the ground, huge leaf Monstera look. So give it some time. It's normal for now, and you'll be good. But yeah, bald actually makes perfect sense, both. But yeah, this one right here, I'm gonna guess this is when you bought it, repotted, pretty aggressive repot, newest leaf. I would leave it alone because this newest leaf looks pretty healthy. So it tells me right now that you probably you have good watering habits now. But this plant does need more light. So I'd stick a Sansi 36-watt bulb or something pretty close to it and give it more. Your other plants back here, kind of my other thing, I'd be curious to see what lights you have inside these cans. I don't think you can actually fit the 36-watt bulbs. So I think you've got maybe like some 15-watt bulbs in here. And that's a lot of plants you're trying to light with those few bulbs. So I would just say maybe up the light a little bit, just overall, just a little bit more things. But yeah, as far as like losing the bottom leaves, I never worry about it. Especially when they're young, you're going to lose a lot of your oldest leaves. Once the leaves start fenestrating, you're fine. The whole dying leaves will start to go away, and then repot and just bury the bald spot. Okay, 15% battery life. I'm gonna have to. I don't remember what time Tiffany said the kid's birthday party was. Oh, she texted me. We were riding bikes, texting when done. Probably got to be done pretty soon. Okay, period. What time do we need to head over for the party? Okay. So, let's take a look at this one. This is an interesting setup. You've got, this is like a husk kind of setup going on in here, like coir chunks. That's kind of cool. Interesting. Nice. A little, I forget what the name of the Frydek is when by the way, the Frydek is the name for the white variegated one. That's the actual name for it. The green one is like mica shoot. It's a obnoxiously crazy name, and people were pretty mad that like people are calling the pure green ones by the name Frydek. And I'm like, look, I can't remember what they're called either. Sorry. Okay, so we've got, what is this? Second new leaf. Also had to rehab. Yeah, I get you. All right. Yeah. So don't be worried. Like if you're rehabbing, cute little micans back here. When you're rehabbing, you're gonna have some goofy looking leaves. That's kind of normal. What does this say? Please don't die. Sorry, I'm creeping your photos. Fun little snails. Okay. Looks good. Probably could use a little bit more light, but it's hard to tell when it's hard to tell when they're rehabbing. Like when you rehab a plant, sometimes they set out these little goofy small leaves. So if the next leaf isn't markedly bigger, I would increase your light. But other than that, this looks good. Your pothos up here look really nice. This micans is super cute. I need to like set up a little micans like that. That's nice. That's D-Love. Oh, more dry band. Oh, mine from above. Okay, yeah. There you go. Ooh, we need information. What the heck is this? What is this? This is an anthurium, but what is this? I need to know. Someone tell me what this is. Oh, because we're right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving seeing you guys' plants. I know I'm not always like active in the Discord. Like it takes me a few days to go back through, but I always look through all your Monstera book club photos because it gives me ideas for things that I do videos on. What is this? Does that mean for indoor keeping of Monstera, it'd be hard to just... The Dark Phoenix. Okay, well, that explains it. It's one of my favorite anthuriums, but yours is really interesting. It's really like thick, and the sinus comes really tight up top. I don't know if it's the angle or not, but yeah, Dark Phoenixes are sick. Does that mean for indoor keeping of Monstera, it will be hard to just depend on windowsill? Yes. So depending on where you live. So some of you guys that are blessed to live in and you have like a south-facing Florida window, you don't need grow lights. You're fine. If you're like me and you live in the Pacific Northwest, we tested it on session 1. I have an actual PPFD meter, so an actual like proper, not a light, not a foot candle meter, a PPFD meter. And we measured my windows, and I was getting 30 PPFD, and like the crappiest grow light I have was putting out 200 PPFD. So like my best case scenario for my windows is garbage. It's not enough for your plants. So it depends on where you live, but south-facing window for a Monstera in almost all places is correct, as long as it's not burning the plant. And just because it burns your plant when you put it there doesn't mean that it can't be acclimated to those conditions. Really, really common for people to they take their Monstera that haven't seen sun in like 6 months and they go throw it in front of a window, it burns, and they're like, oh, the internet man was wrong. No, the internet man was right. It just, you have to acclimate it. So move it a few inches a day closer and closer to the window. If you see burning, stop. Don't go further. Let it acclimate to that condition, and then keep moving it forward as it gets a little bit more acclimated. So trust me, your plant wants more light. I try. It's really hard. Like homie, like I feel awful about it. Like I set a goal for I was like, I'm gonna answer every comment and stuff, and I did it for a full year. I was near perfect every single comment, and then I can't do it. It's hundreds of comments. They come in so fast that I can't answer them in time. And so what I started doing is I post a video or post something, and then I will respond to everything within the first hour. Basically, it's kind of my goal. And then I will typically 24 hours later just double check and give a quick little pass, and then that's all I do. After 24 hours, I almost never go back and look because I just can't. But yeah, and there's some really great people in the community, and we all have different opinions. Like there's people that give advice. I'm like, I don't know that I would give that advice, but as long as they have a healthy plant that's doing fine, I'm fine with you giving conflicting advice than what I have, as long as you have something working for you. 10% battery life. We don't have much. Want to leave home no later than 1:30. Okay, cool. We're gonna have to wrap up before too much longer. How am I doing on these photos? Oh, I'm almost caught up. Sick. Okay. All right, Kimbo, let's take a look at yours. Oh, Kimbo, I love that you shared this. This is cool. Okay, somebody was asking about front and back of plants. Okay, so Kimbo, I can't tell you whether it's time to repot or not. So doing predicted things to do for a repot. You're sizing up. Look out for spider mites. I don't know if you have spider mites in your house. You may or may not. Sometimes dirt, like getting caught on the underside of the leaves like this, is a sign that you might have mites. So just double check. They usually don't bother Monstera too much. Like they'll hang out on them, but they're not like super destructive like they can be on Alocasia. So just double check for me. It's probably nothing, but anytime I see like dirt sticking on the bottom of a plant like this, I always double check for it. If you do, just manually remove them with like a microfiber cloth, and that's usually enough for a Monstera to get rid of them. If not, Mighty by MPK is my recommendation, or Beneficial Bugs. All right, no just dirt. Okay, cool. Sometimes it's just spider webs. It's my favorite game to play. Is like spider mites or spiders. Okay, so yeah, it's obviously dirt, but the webbing that the mites leave gets stuff stuck to it.
It's a good way if you're ever curious if you have spiders or spider mites. You can take like perlite dust, like the perlite, and just kind of like throw it at the bottom of the leaves. And if it sticks and floats there, you might have spider mites. Just fun little random. That's like the most random plant care tip I've ever given, I think, online, but it works. Okay, so and if it sticks, it could just mean it's spider webs, but it's a good way to tell. Okay, so what I love about this, mad respect for using my setup. I love that. Glad it works. Cedar planks are in the pot. Oh, are they too, Karina? Nice. I was wondering how that would work. I assumed it would work. Cedar usually does pretty good about not rutting. If you're asking what the question was, it says my cedar planks are in the pot with my leca. So they're saying that has worked. Nice. Okay. So this one, what I love about this is you can see, you nailed the like, put it on the back of the plant, right? So you can see, again, we have all these little V's kind of going towards the back of the plant, and then all the V's come out the front and going here. But you'll notice the newest leaf is facing the wrong direction. I don't know why that is. Why is it facing this way? I assume the light is going that way, but it's probably just searching for light. So for this one, I would say just, I don't know, maybe a little bit more directionality with the light. I'm not sure why it would go that direction. There's no window there. It's ashamed. It's ashamed. It's definitely shame. Yeah, I'm gonna say this too. Like, and also, like, if you have an ugly plant, everybody's like showing off here. If your plant is ugly, it is just as helpful for you to share that, right? So if you're like feeling like, oh no, I'm failing or like whatever, don't feel that way. The whole point of this is to help people grow plants. So it doesn't matter if your plant is like a show plant or ugly as sin, because we can use this as a learning experience. And I'd rather you post a photo of your ugly plant and I can help you than, live in shame. Don't be afraid of it. Because believe it or not, I've had plants not do well too. Like my Mark's Flame. It's ugly. Maybe I'll share it sometime. Okay. Looking great. Yep. Good, good, good. Oh, is this the same one? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so see, again, this is kind of what you're looking for. I'm going to brighten this up a little bit. Okay, we're looking for that root right here. We want that root to make contact with the moss. Good stuff. Good work. I like this color purple. It's nice purple you picked there for your filament. I don't recognize it. My wife is singing to me about pina coladas. I can't leave your photo. I'm just stuck on your photo. There it is. Carla, you can go back and review the other things. Because we have a couple things we're going to announce kind of at the end here too. Because we're going to be wrapping up here in a second here. Yeah, a little bit of rot. Just clean it off. Hydrogen peroxide or something like that to kind of just get things kind of clean a little bit. And then, honestly, I would stick this thing in. If you have tree fern fiber would be really great for this too. But like this is fine. You've got. I'd let this dry out a little bit, and then tree. You've got enough roots in here. I think it'll be just fine. But yeah, clean this up and just make sure you don't have any more rot in here. These are like stringy things. This is like the inside of a root. So what if you guys have ever seen this before? Inside of the root, you will have you have like the main outer casing of the root, and then inside, I don't know the actual correct botanical term, but these are the actual like inner pieces of the roots. These will basically assuredly rot off. So I just clip these off because these stringy bits don't last. But I would clip anything in here that is squishy and get rid of it. And then I would either put it in water, like a jar of water, and make sure you refresh that water once a week so that it stays nice and aerated. But I'd honestly probably full send this into some media, but I have high risk tolerance with a lot of light. But I think this is going to be just fine. But I would make sure you clean up here because you've got some stuff that needs to be cleaned up, and then hydrogen peroxide can kind of help kill some germs. And then as far as like if you're getting caught up on the thing, Carla, the sessions are recorded. You can go back and watch them. They're long. Sorry, I ramble. But we talk about some good stuff. Yeah, that's good. And then by next section, the weather will be nicer and we can start doing giveaways. Hint, hint. I've got some cool stuff coming. So I've had some people reach out wanting to do some sponsored, some like pots and some other stuff. We're gonna start doing some giveaways on the live. So you'll be incentivized to be here live, but this almost looks like my hand if I hold my hand here correctly. Can we do this? This is really difficult to do backwards. That's a trip. All right. Cool. We'll look at the last couple ones here, and then we will talk about next steps. Yeah, all right. Pretty. Yellow Maryland. Good stuff. No notes. Yeah, it's Serena. Good work. I'll be curious to see what this looks like. What is this, Serena? What is this madness? Oh my gosh. Serena's really active on our Discord. These are arrow roots, 6 foot long arrow roots. They don't harm anything, but I will warn you guys, these can like eat into your drywall. So don't let these touch your drywall. I have seen people get like massive sections of their drywall ripped out when they go to remove these. Yeah, Bulbasaur reverting. I've seen reports of the Bulbasaurs reverting. Give them a lot of light and see if that helps. I don't know how to help you guys with that because I don't know how they work with the variegation. I will say this. The Bulbasaur was like one of those ones that got the TC got rushed really aggressively. If you got a TC and it reverted, wait a little bit. I think they're going to get better over the next few, like 6 months. Or get a cutting from somebody that got one that works really well. How did you wind up with 7 Monstera? I don't know. That's a great question. All right, last photo here I think we've got here. No. Oh, no, we have another one. Linnell, asked him about browning on things. Higher humidity and more light. It's about all I have ever found that actually helps with keeping highly variegated sections good. Lots of, little venom in here. Love venoms. My mind's a little bit rehabbing right now. Goliath and Dark Phoenix, good cross. Good cross. Lemon lime, venom. Cool. Okay. If you sent me a message on, I've got Willow. Hush. Oh, that's my new fan. I got a new fan for my garage because I do a lot of work in my garage. You have the big fans in there. Okay. Or the big lights in there. That's fascinating. Good work. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of looks like maybe get them a little bit closer. Maybe it's hard to tell perspective-wise how close those lights were to your plants. So you might just try to move them a little closer. All right, that was a lot of fun. I think we should kind of do that maybe as a check-in. So maybe next time we'll do some more chores. So what we'll do, I'm gonna hit some links for you guys in the chat here. If you guys don't have them, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All there in case you need them to follow. You obviously have YouTube because you're here. And then the Discord. So a couple things. One, if you are in the thing and you did not get an email, please shoot me a message on either Instagram or Discord with, like I said, with that information, right? What email do you think you signed up with? What was your name you signed up with? Whether you used an alias or your real name. Because then I can manually add you. What we're going to probably do is get everybody connected because I want to make sure that we don't leave anybody behind. Whether you're in the challenge or not, you're allowed to participate. Like we don't gate these or anything. But I want to make sure that everybody that wants to be in gets the chance in. So I shut down the signups. So the only way to get in at this point is to shoot me that message of here's what I think I signed up with. I'll audit it a little bit to try to make sure that I have some record of you trying, and then I'm going to let you in anyways. I'm not going to be mean about it. But I want to make sure that we get everybody in before the next session, because by the next session, I want to be able to say, that's it, everybody's in. And then we're going to start tracking progress photos a little bit more tightly. just so we can kind of see. Because what I want to do at the very end of this is I'm going to reach out to some of my other creator friends. They're going to judge, you know, kind of your starting point and your ending point, see how you did, see what their favorite Monsteras are, because I'm going to be too impartial or too biased probably on my preferences. So I want to have some, you know, other creators kind of judge and report back with their favorites, and then they will be the one that decides who gets the kind of the prizes. We are going to do some random giveaways in the next few sessions. So like I said, I've been talking with a plant maker, or a pot maker, excuse me, and then some other like people who do like tissue culture stuff have offered to maybe send some plants. So and then I'm working with some grow light companies to see if we can get some sponsors there as well. And if not, then I will sponsor some stuff. I'll do some giveaways of my stuff too next time. So we'll start doing some live giveaways, and that'll be fun. So next session, what we'll do, I think it might be good to talk hoop. Yeah, as far as if prices be it would be USA only. There are going to be some plant-based prizes probably have to be US and Canada only, like actual physical plants, because I don't have all like the phytos. I don't know what I'm doing there, and to be honest, I'm not comfortable importing a plant like that, just for distance sake. If I can find somebody like an intermediary, like a tissue company that'd be like, hey, we know how to ship overseas or whatever, I'll do that. But I got to work with. I'm starting. Those of you guys that are going to Seattle, we got the event to get sponsored to like the tissue culture class got sponsored by Plants Without Borders, and so they're giving us all the tissue cultures to the event. And I might reach out to them and see if they would know or be willing to figure out how to do that. So I can't make any promises on that. If it's something that like I'm shipping, like from me, like from my stuff, I have no problem shipping that stuff worldwide, as long as there's not something particular with your company that will let me. So I'm going to make some stuff worldwide, and some stuff may have to be US and Canada only, but I will keep you posted regardless. And if nothing else, Hoop, we might do some stuff of like, whether it's like gift cards or something like that could be worldwide. I know we have people all over, so I really would like everybody to be able to have the potential to win something. But I will say this, devils have gotten real cheap, and I know I said one devil, but like I said earlier, I think we might have to do more than one, because I thought they were going to be more exclusive by then, but in a year I think they're going to be sub $30. So yeah, I think we're gonna do multiple devils. So yeah. All right, cool. With that said, I have a kid's birthday party, so I'm gonna go wish my kid happy birthday. But in the meantime, make sure that you're on the Discord if you're not already. It's a great place to get help. I'm there helping out as well. The next session, I will get on the calendar. Please make sure, if you did not get that email, the email is how these are going to go out now. So be checking your email. I've got a whole new email server. So the next session, I will shoot an email, and it'll basically have a link to the live stream for you, so that you know ahead of time. It'll be after PlantCon. So PlantCon's in 2 weeks. So it'll probably be like early September. We probably won't go into Labor Day weekend, so we'll probably go the week after Labor Day weekend if I had to hazard a guess. I loved seeing all of your plants. Thank you guys for sharing. Keep at it. If you run into problems, the Discord, again, is the best way to get help, whether it's me or somebody else. But the answer is almost always more light. It's almost always more light, unless your plant is on fire. That's the point where you stop. But yeah, I'm loving this. Really thankful for all of you guys to come and hang out with us and nerd out about stuff. We're gonna look at this Bulbasaur one more time, because, come on, like, respect. Like, this is legit. I can't even fit it in the camera anymore. It's too big. But very good. So again, thank you all for being here. Lovely time with all of you guys, all my planty friends. If you are going to PlantCon Seattle, I will be there, obviously. We are going as special guests. So if you're in the Seattle area and you want to hang out, please do not feel like a stranger. We tell people all the time, if we're in an event, please come hang out with us. So we'd love to meet you. So if you're in Seattle next 14th, 15th, or 15th, 16th, sorry, we will be there. So please come say hi. We are teaching a tissue culture class as well. So it'll be fun. I don't know if there's room or not. So if there is, good luck. But that said, thank you again for sharing all of your photos. We'll do this again. I want to see more of your photos live. So I will resist the urge to peek too much. So with that said, good luck for the next month. Plenty of light. Make sure you get plenty of light. Repot only when it is ramen noodles. Until you see ramen noodles, that is the place to repot. Until then, leave it alone. And then when you repot, I don't recommend disturbing the roots. Just pull the whole thing out, put it into your new pot, and backfill. Leave the roots alone. So that said, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys very, very soon, because now I need to go film a bunch of content for short form and long form, because I'm going to build that Unicoli cabinet, and it's going to be baller, but that's spoilers for later. So, all right, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time.